All right. How you guys doing? I'll get on camera here in a second. Before I do, I'm going to shout out to everyone who's here in the chat quick before we get going here. We got Bad Milk here, Brian C., Matthew McDonald, Matt McCoggan. I'm sorry if I butcher names here. Max Lebowitz, basically Link, Bamboo Baby is here as well. We got Marcus Herrera here, Christopher Lockhart, MK Akin. Let's see, scrolling on down here. Borat Segdayev, Marcos Herrera, Timothy Lay, the Jaconators here as well. We got lots of people. Imi and Soul is here. Timothy Lay. If I didn't say hi already, Bayleaf789 is here as well. Pixel Pat, Cadenberg, Motivation and Hustle, and anyone else I forgot, welcome. How's it going? Hi. So we're going to talk some Zelda. You guys can ask questions or all that stuff. You guys know, I didn't really want to put Q&A in the title. You guys know. You can always ask questions. It is what it is. You can ask them in the chat by pinging my name. You can also, you can also go down and like super chat and do donations to get your questions at the top of the pile. Tonight, super chats or donations are just a thank you, and or hey, maybe I'll take a shot or two if I feel like it. Up here we have a donation goal. We're trying to do get a couple Shure SMB7 mics up in here. We don't really have to have them. It's just a nicety. If you would like to donate towards that, that's what the Streamlabs donation link in the description is for. Also, I added a new Primetime Gang member goal. Basically, every time we hit the goal, right now we're at 3 total members on the channel. If we get to 10, that's where you hit the little join button. If we get to 10, I'll do like an extra, screw it, I'll do a giveaway right on the stream. That's what I'm going to do now for the members. So right now it's 10, and then we hit that, we'll do a giveaway, then I'll put a new goal and go from there. That being said, before I get into anything, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that while I'm not personally super impacted by this because I only vaguely knew of him, we did lose a member of the Nintendo YouTube community. I don't know if we lost him today or what day exactly we lost him. The update was today. Some of you guys might have heard of Nintendo Guru. He's been on the Nintendo Prime podcast in years past. I think he's been on 2 episodes. This was a long time ago. He also has been featured on other channels like Nintendo Talk. They used to do like an Animal Crossing talk thing. So he's always been super, super kind to me. I don't know him personally. I've only interacted with him a few times. He has passed away. I'm not sure how old he was. I think he was older than me. I'm not 100% sure on that part. But basically, he came down with COVID last year. It looks like based on the GoFundMe that's been going on for him this whole time. So on Sunday, November 1st of last year, his name's Bobby. He was admitted to the hospital due to the side effects of a positive coronavirus detected a few days earlier. Because of the coronavirus, no friends or family can visit him, which is sad. Tuesday, November 3rd at 2:30 p.m., one of the nurses called and said there were very slight improvements. His oxygen levels have increased slightly. She said it would be a long road back because of how weak he is, but she believes he has a 97.3% chance of recovery. And here we are, over 120 days later, and we have an update from Robert Paul, who is related to him, on the Facebook page. It says, some people are already aware. After 120 days of fighting, my son Bobby passed away Friday. There's no words to describe how much his family is grieving. We as parents are not supposed to outlive our children. My family would like to thank everyone for all the prayers and calls we received. Eventually though this time is awful and the pain will ease, but we're never going to forget. So to Bobby, a.k.a. Nintendo Guru Man, and his family, I wish you guys all the best. And anyone in the Nintendo community, whether you are just a viewer or a fellow content creator, if you are deeply impacted by his loss, I feel for you. I mean, I almost have tears in my eye, and I barely know the guy. Some people struggle, like my son, who just walked in. So I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. My 5-year-old is going through a bit of a phase right now. Um, anyways, I so when it comes to Nintendo Guru, I'm not sure if he had underlying health conditions. I'm not sure what the case might be. It kind of sucks that they were saying that he had a very, very high chance of coming back from it, and he didn't. After 120 days, he just his body just couldn't take it. So I'm not going to make any presumptions about why it happened or what other health conditions he may have had. My thoughts go out to his family. My thoughts go out to everyone impacted by it. I'll drop a link quick to the GoFundMe. I'm not sure how much the GoFundMe will help right now, but maybe it'll help cover some funeral costs or something. So I'll drop a link to that GoFundMe if anyone's interested in just tossing a couple bucks his family's way, a little support. The GoFundMe was set up by his niece, a Nintendo Guru's niece. They already raised $22,620, but again, this GoFundMe has been going on for a long time. So I'm not sure how much they need for funeral costs and all that, especially in the middle of COVID. It's not like big funerals are going on right now. So hey, shout out to him for his amazing content. I think that's how we should end talking about Nintendo Guru. It's just his passion for what he did here on YouTube. Because I can't really talk about anything else because I don't know him personally. And I've had very minimal interactions with him in the past. But he was very passionate about Nintendo. Obviously, with Nintendo Guru in his YouTube channel's name, you knew that. Now, he never got super big, right? Only 7,000 subscribers. But it doesn't matter how big you are. You can impact people's lives. You could literally have 5 followers. And you might impact all 5 of those followers' lives immensely. The last thing he looks like he did up here, he had a Mario Kart 8 Deluxe stream he did with the community playing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. He had a weekly recap of Animal Crossing news where he had a couple guests on. He's just super passionate about Nintendo. Obviously, a lot of Animal Crossing stuff. But even before that, he's been making videos. Let's see. What was his oldest video? So let's see. His oldest video was 4 years ago. And he had his little making of the logo, but then he had his very first real video after that was the details in the dungeon episode 1 Twilight Princess / the Forest. It looks like he had some Let's Plays and some other things. So he was just very passionate about what he did, regardless of how many viewers he had. He didn't change over the years when his viewership started going up. When he starts up with like 10 viewers, he gets to 50, he starts getting up to, a couple thousand here and there. He just never really changed. He was just as passionate from day one to the end. I've watched a lot of his stuff. In fact, I think I might have even been on one of his podcast episodes now that I'm thinking back. Like this would have been like 2 or 3 years ago when he first reached out to me. I'm pretty sure I was on one of his episodes. I'd have to go back and dig through because I didn't watch it after he put it up because I was on it while he was recording. So you don't always feel like you need to rewatch something after you've been on it. I mean, you don't need to listen to yourself talk all the time. It's kind of like when I go through and I'm editing the Nintendo Prime podcast. By the time I get to the end of editing that podcast, I'm so tired of hearing myself talk. You would think, as someone who's like a YouTube content creator, that has to listen to myself talk all the time because I have to go back through and edit things, that, you won't get tired of your own voice, but sometimes you do. So oftentimes when I'm on other people's shows and stuff, I don't go back and listen to it once it's uploaded because I was there already. I don't need to hear myself again. But that being said, let's move on, shall we? I just wanted to show some respect to someone who I know impacted some people's lives in a very positive way in this community. Miss Weird Person That Exists has a hidden comment. It says, am I going to have to be clean in this chat? I feel the same way Daryl Dixon from The Walking Dead does about this, except this hyper lame, and I'm uber gay. I don't really care if you're gay. That's your own preferences. I'll show that comment. But if it, you start, you don't really have to censor yourself. You just, don't be annoying. I'll show you other comments. It says, Rip Nintendo Guru. Yes, I can be shocked. Yes, I am sad. I have a weird way of handling it, but that's because I have Asperger's and bipolar and the mix is hell. Yeah, I can only imagine. But yeah, COVID's a real thing, of course. I'm fairly certain COVID has gone through my house at least twice. We have 0 positive tests. And if we've had it, there's been very minimal symptoms. So we've been fortunate in our house where if it did come through our house, which I'm fairly certain it has, that no one that lives directly in my house is impacted really negatively by it. So thankfully, we're pretty much would be asymptomatic. But not everyone's that fortunate. So it is what it is. My fiance's already been vaccinated as she works in the healthcare industry. I am due for vaccination in April. They don't vaccinate children. It's only for people 18 plus. And so it is what it is. Nothing I can do about that. But at least until they have a vaccine that is rated as safe for kids. All right. So that being said, let's talk about some stuff, huh? Obviously, Zelda. I love Zelda. I've been making lots of Zelda videos. You guys know what's up. So many Zelda videos. We got Neil Agasso here. Welcome. Ben Studios, Brian C. Man, so many people. Joyce J is here. There's been so many Zelda videos. Obviously, a lot of it's been like some rumors. You know, rumors are what they are. I mean, Zelda rumors are out there all the time, right? I don't cover them all like I used to. Back when I ran Zelda Informer, like literally any morsel of a Zelda rumor, even if it's 4chan, we're making a post about it because, hey, look, that's what we were about, informing people of what the hell's out there, even if it's not true. We don't know. So there's been a ton of Zelda rumors. And I made some videos. One video in particular really blew up. I'm sure some of you guys found me through that video. And that's cool. I have a video. You know, my videos blow up every once in a blue moon. That was the first one since like September, I think. God, Super Mario 3D All-Stars. You guys remember that. You know, setting aside the YouTube BS over it. You guys remember the 3D All-Star days, I'm sure, man. That was a crazy month, man. Almost every video I dropped was like, oh, here's 100,000 views. Here's 100,000 views. I don't know what the hell is going on. So I was beyond ecstatic to see a Zelda video blow up, even if it was a rumor video, because Zelda is like my thing. It's like Nintendo could HD, literally just take an emulator, HD a game, release like the OG NES Zelda game. I hate saying that, but they could literally just HD that game for $60, which is a total ripoff, and I would buy it because Nintendo has me by the damn ball sack when it comes to Zelda games. I'm that passionate about Zelda that honestly, I'm going to buy it. It is what it is. I'm sorry. Like, unapologetically sorry. Like, Skyward Sword HD, some people think it's overpriced. I'm buying it. I'm going to be happy to do so. And I can't wait to replay that game in HD. Am I going to talk about the Elden Ring trailer? Says Jamanda Bop. I responded to your comment with a link to it since you couldn't find it. So I actually had someone behind the scenes send me the full trailer that isn't like recorded off screen, because right now, well, it's not really one trailer. It's like 3 or something like that. 3. They're not even trailers. Let's be clear. What leaked for Elden Ring, which is a game that was announced, God, was it announced at E3 or something like 2-3 years ago? It was a while ago. And we haven't really seen it since, is that there is like these little clips, like these 3 footage clips that were sent like a year ago in behind the scenes in the industry. Someone got a hold of the clips. I'm not sure how, probably through nefarious means. Like, hey, I was at my uncle's house, and because he's working at home now, I found the clips on his computer. Let me jack those clips and upload them somewhere, which is a really super shitty thing to do. We shouldn't have these clips. But once they hit the internet, you know the way it is. That's it. They're there. So, yes, I've seen the clips. Yes, the game looks amazing. And yes, it was a year ago. No, it doesn't mean we're getting a trailer anytime soon. It's just, the game looks great. Like, there's nothing to be ashamed of. There's nothing to be, they're quote-unquote trailers. They're not really, you could tell when you watch it that it's not like, it's not the kind of trailer that you would cut for consumers. Okay? Maybe, you know, as you said, maybe it was for major investors. I didn't do all my research into what the trailers were for exactly. They definitely weren't consumer-grade trailers. But, man, did the game not look good? I mean, there's nothing embarrassing. Like, if I'm the makers behind Elden Ring, I might be a little upset this stuff got out, because by the time we wanted to show the public, you know, this kind of stuff, we wanted to put our best foot forward. You know, hit them with that 4K 60 FPS footage and really just blow their socks off. But the thing is, there's nothing embarrassing going on in those trailers. The game looks great. You can't really divulge too much from the trailers other than it's epic. It's definitely a high-action RPG. Dragon looked freaking phenomenal, but I mean, we've seen phenomenal dragons before, so we'll see how it goes. The game looked great. There's nothing embarrassing about it. It's just, it's good to know that this highly hyped game at very early stages looked really good. And I think that's what people want. They want hope because it's a new IP. People want hope that the Elden Ring IP can turn out. And now we have that hope kind of realized in these investment trailers that it's like, huh, oh God, yeah, man. Behind the scenes, look at that game. Look at that game. Look at that game. Damn, does it look good. So, on the bright side, it didn't make the game look bad. If nothing else, it only increased the hype for Elden Ring. So, the developers might be a little upset the trailers got out, but at the same point, it didn't make the game look bad. It only made people more hyped and want more. The problem they're going to have now is now that these trailers are out, the demand for an official trailer, an official gameplay reveal trailer is out there. It's been out there for a while, and the calls for it are only going to increase. So that part kind of sucks. That like they probably might not even be showing the game this year. You know, yeah, those things are from a year ago, but then there was COVID. So they might not even have any. You know, they might not even want to show the game this year. But it is what it is. If you go to Elden Ring News if you just type that in on YouTube, there's a YouTube channel that has an off-camera clip of it. I'm not gonna share any of the direct footage of it. Like any of the direct feed footage. I'm not going to share any of it with anyone because that stuff is technically illegal and shouldn't exist. Like, shouldn't exist in a way that we actually have access to it, if that makes sense. Man, lots of people atting me today. Would you prefer Minish Cap or Spirit Tracks HD port? Both. But if I could only have one, I do like Spirit Tracks more. People have been telling me that the Zelda Direct is on Thursday. Is that true? If not, when do you think the Zelda Direct will go live? I don't think we're getting a Zelda Direct anytime soon. They're not going to allow Breath of the Wild 2 to overshadow Skyward Sword HD. They're going to do what Nintendo unintentionally did last year. So Nintendo meant to have the 35th anniversary stuff at E3 for Mario. But then E3 didn't happen. So then they let Paper Mario come out and let it have its time in the sun. And then they did the 35th anniversary direct that they cobbled together. My thing is, I don't think Zelda is going to say anything till after Skyward Sword HD comes out. So the earliest I think you're seeing a Zelda Direct is August. Now, there's a caveat to this. If Nintendo chooses to take one of the platform holder 2-hour slots that E3 is offering for an E3 online event, it's entirely possible that's when they drop the Zelda 35th stuff. Because it would be a big platform, and Nintendo would have paid a lot of money to have that 2-hour time slot. Nintendo's not going to pay that kind of money for a 2-hour platform time slot and not have a bunch of crap to talk about, including Zelda. So, it's all going to depend on if Nintendo takes up E3 and the ESA on their offering for that 2-hour time slot, and if that event even goes forward, which we don't know. We haven't really heard any news. Like, ever since ESA announced that they are planning this and what their plans are for it, we haven't really heard who has signed on for it. You know, I know their hope was that Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft would sign on for those 2-hour platform slots on each, one each day. I know they were hoping that would happen. Because if the platform holders sign on, that's when you start getting the Ubisofts, the Activisions, and everyone else, involved with it. Because if the platform holders are there, they're going to want to be there. So we'll see. Nintendo technically didn't back out at E3 last year. If E3 was going to be held, Nintendo was going to be there. COVID be damned. But it wasn't held. So Nintendo's been a big supporter of E3 and the ESA. They have, I think Doug Bowser is technically one of the chairs on the committee. So I would be shocked if Nintendo wouldn't commit to it. But it doesn't mean that enough companies will commit to hold it. So we'll see. That's one caveat that it could happen there. Otherwise, August. I don't think we're seeing. I mean, I want it to happen this month, of course. We're clearing out Mario's 35th anniversary. Let's get Zelda. But Skyward Sword HD is like AJ Anuma's baby. All right, like it was a game that AJ Anuma really believed in, and it was also a game that brought Shigeru Miyamoto back to the Zelda series in a way where he actually had something to do with the development of the game. See, Shigeru Miyamoto basically backed off after Ocarina of Time. And from Majora's Mask on forward, AJ Anuma took the reins. So it was like Majora's Mask, Twilight Princess, The Wind Waker. That was pretty much all AJ Anuma and his team. Obviously, he had different directors along the way, but it wasn't Shigeru Miyamoto. Shigeru Miyamoto came back for Skyward Sword. So there's a lot of important. Skyward Sword is an incredibly important game to the Zelda timeline. Incredibly important game to that. It's also one of the deepest stories, if not the deepest stories in all of Zelda. So I think that AJ Nomo and Shigeru Miyamoto want to give Skyward Sword HD a little bit of runway before it gets overshadowed, by games that people get more hyped about, like Twilight Princess HD and Wind Waker HD. And yes, Breath of the Wild too. But we'll see. I could be wrong on that. That's my presumption that Nintendo wants to let Skyward Sword have some light. Plus, like, if there's a Zelda-themed Switch, it might overshadow things like the Skyward Sword, Joy-Cons. So, we'll see. Let me see here. What's up, Nate? Currently working, just having you as background noise. Nice. Gin jerky. Let's see here. People have been telling me that the Nintendo Direct is on Thursday. Is that true? Okay, I talked about that. Did you see about the PlayStation 5 being hacked in order to use their crypto mining? Super unfortunate for gamers. Haha. So, as I was recording the video for it, well, actually, I was recording a video about this. And then when I got to the end of the video, I started researching this a little bit more. And it turns out it didn't actually happen. The screenshot being shared around actually has some Chinese text in it that when translated says, ha ha ha, this isn't real. We didn't actually crack it. So no, the PlayStation 5 is currently not being used for mining, and the OS has currently not been cracked. Now, are hackers eventually going to get around this and eventually try to mine with it? Absolutely. But for right now, it didn't actually happen. It's kind of a false news, and the false news gets spread easily because, hey, I don't read Chinese. So if like a credible news outlet reports on it and they didn't have anyone check on it to see what the Chinese says, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You're kind of left to rely on the people that know what they're doing. And when they make a mistake, it leads to everyone else making mistakes. But it is what it is. It technically hasn't been hacked. PlayStation 5 is not being used for crypto right now. Could be someday, but it's not right now. Remember how I said I want Galaxy's level design with Odyssey structure? Scratch that. I want Bowser's Fury structure and level design with Odyssey's moveset. Oh, jeez. All right. You really love Bowser's Fury, huh? I came here for the free pizza. Stayed for the Nate. Jeez. Let's welcome Game Over Jesse. Shout out to Game Over Jesse. He's a fellow YouTuber out there. Makes a lot of Zelda content. If you guys have liked my Zelda rumor videos lately, thank him. He's really inspired me to get back into the rumor mill of Zelda stuff that's always going on, but I haven't really been making videos on it. I'm so glad to have my Zelda passion reinvigorated. Maybe it's just the 35th anniversary. I don't know. But I got my little ocarina here. Oh no, focus. Look at me. Camera. You need to focus on me. No, my focusing trick didn't work. Hold on. I got a white piece of paper. Usually this brings it back. Come back to me. Come back to me. There it is. See, that's why this white piece of paper is here. Every now and then when it goes out of focus, you got to be like, hey, white. And then it comes back. I don't understand it. It's a little camera trick I learned a long time ago from somebody. Hold up a white piece of paper and it fixes the camera's focus when it. And what happens is it's trying to like track my eyes, and when I'm constantly reading the chat, like I was about to say, I got my little Zelda ocarina. I used to be able to actually play this thing. This is an official media edition ocarina. Actually works. This is an Ocarina of Time sent to me by Nintendo. Pretty cool. Back when Zelda Informer was a thing, and I got review copies of Zelda games. Now I don't get review copies of any Nintendo games. They don't like me anymore. It's because I'm a YouTuber, and for some reason, every time I apply to be in their like Nintendo Ambassadors program, they're like, nah. And you know why? Probably because I do shots on stream. Probably because I say fuck it half the time. I'm not going to conform to some family-friendly image that Nintendo wants me to have. Even though my channel is, I mean, let's be honest, my channel's fairly family-friendly. It's just not intentionally so. It just so happens that, in like a standard video on camera, like I have, I don't know, it's a level of professionalism. I don't even know if you call it that, but I just don't like regularly swear all the time when I'm talking. But I mean, I will sometimes in my videos, and I definitely will on streams. I mean, come on, let's go bang bang right now. Well, okay, you guys aren't my fiance, but I bang her a little later. See, like these are the reasons that I don't get, that I don't become a Nintendo ambassador. I mean, come on. If they kick beat 'em ups out, they ain't going to invite me in, let me tell you. Beat 'em ups is way more family friendly. And he got kicked out of the ambassadors program. Hey, we have a $2 super chat. I'm sure the song doesn't help. The song? Are you trying to get a song request in, Brian? Is that a request I hear? Is that a request I hear? I know what song you're talking about. You guys know I take donations and super chats for song requests. Typically Nintendo music, not Pokemon. Pokemon gets copyright claim, but any other like Zelda, Mario, Donkey Kong, all that stuff's fine. And technically the song that he's referencing is also not totally fine by YouTube standards anyways. Every time I play it for a new audience. See, it wasn't a request, but I can play. Okay, it wasn't a request, so I won't play it. I won't surprise all the children and their parents that are listening in the background and being like, what the hell? Would you enjoy a paper style Zelda? Dude, Paper Zelda would be great. I'd be all up on that. I love Paper Zelda. I love Paper Mario, I should say. I've seen some Paper Zelda fan concept art before that looked really promising. It'd be cool for Nintendo to do something like that. Jamanda Bob wants to know, how would you rank the 3D Mario games if you count Bowser's Fury as a separate from 3D World? There's 8 now. I don't count Bowser's Fury as separate, though. But even if I did, let's say I counted Bowser's Fury as separate, it'd be last. It's the shortest game. It's a cool concept, but it's a really short game. On its own, Bowser's Fury by itself is just too short. Bowser's Fury as like a side thing to 3D World, great. But it's not long enough to be its own game. It's like a concept for a bigger game. That's what it feels like. It's like an experiment. So it would be last. Because you're trying to get me to be like, oh, where would you rank this among? Like, it'd be last. It's just not long enough. Like when you buy a game and you can beat it in like, less than 8 hours, and all the other games take me like weeks. Yeah. But it is really cool. I like Bowser's Fury mode a lot. It's great. But still, like, it ends and it's a really interesting concept. I think for like maybe potentially an open world style Mario game in the future. But we'll see. Hasn't happened yet. So Game Over just says yes or no. A Zelda CDI HD collection would outsell the original Wind Waker. That's tough. So Nintendo's never going to do it. But if Nintendo would allow an HD CDI Zelda collection to exist, I do wonder if enough Zelda fans would buy it out of curiosity because they never played it, or just to say they have it in their collection because most Zelda fans do not have Zelda CDI games in their collection because there isn't very many copies of it out there. So I think, and they're really expensive. So I think people, like the original Wind Waker sold, what, 4.5 million? I think. Could it outsell 4.5 million on Switch right now when Zelda's at the peak of its popularity with people that just want to add it to their collection? I think it'd be pretty close. I think it would be pretty close. Just because people would have a morbid curiosity, even though they know the games suck, they would want them just for collector's reasons. I think, like, a Zelda, if they were going to do any sort of limited release, a Zelda CDI collection would literally be a perfect candidate for, like, a limited release, like they did with 3D All-Stars. Because you're not buying it because the game's good. You're buying it for collectability. So making it a limited release would be like a really cool thing, just to not, hey, look, like, yeah, this is like a shitty part of Zelda history, but it exists. People know they exist. Let's, give a little nod to it and make some money on the side. But I don't know how the permissions would work for that as well, because even though Nintendo owns the copyright on the characters in the games, I don't know that there could be other logistics they'd have to work out. So I take it you don't like Portal. Why wouldn't I like Portal? Because it's short? Why would I knock Portal for being short? Is it because I knocked Bowser's Fury for being short? Portal's its own IP, its own franchise. I know It started as a spin-off. And if Bowser's Fury is the start of a spin-off Mario series, great, but it's not. Like, are you seriously trying to say that Bowser's Fury is like a spin-off? Portal became its own franchise. Just because Portal and like Portal 2 are short games, like that's okay. I'm not going to knock a franchise for being short, but you're trying to get me to compare Bowser's Fury to like Portal. You compare to Portal. You compare it to Portal. You don't compare. You're trying to get me to compare a mode in a game that's like 6 hours long to Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, Mario Galaxy 2, and Mario Odyssey, all games that are 30, 40, 50, 60, 100 hour plus games. Like, it's not a fair comparison for Bowser's Fury. It's just not. Portal is a short game, but so is the sequel. Like, that's you don't compare Portal to other games. Portal compares to itself. So why would I dislike Portal because it's short? I don't dislike Bowser's Fury. I just don't think it's a fair comparison to take a mode in a game and then compare it to, other fuller, longer, meant to be sold on their own at $60 a pop Mario games. That's all. Now, if you want to talk about, let me put it this way. This would be like Phantom Hourglass has a mode in the game for multiplayer. Okay? I don't know how many of you guys have played it, but there is an optional, separate multiplayer mode in Phantom Hourglass. It would be like taking that mode, which is a ton of fun, separating it out and say, okay, now compare it to all handheld Zelda games wherever you rank it. It's like, that's not really fair. It's part of Phantom Hourglass. Leave it there. It's part of the value of that game. We don't need to separate that extra mode out that it plays completely different from the rest of the game. And just like say, yeah, how would you rate this? Like, well, it's going to be last. It's just a mode in a game that's short. Why would I compare that to full-blown, Zelda games that are intended to play for 30, 40, 50, 60 hours? So Bowser's Fury is great. I love it for what it is. It's just short and a nice test concept for a full game to come down the road. Like, a new Mario game in the future could literally be inspired by the experimentation they did in Bowser's Fury. Twilight Princess 2 was canceled for Link's crossbow training and was a great business decision because it almost doubled the sales of Wind Waker. So, Link's crossbow training was a packing game for an accessory on Wii at the peak of the Wii's popularity. We all know we bought that damn accessory for Link's crossbow training. But it's just, I don't know that Twilight Princess 2 was canceled specifically to make, like, I know the story behind Twilight Princess 2 and the story behind the cancelization. I don't really believe they canceled a full-on Zelda game to make Link's crossbow training, which they put together in less than 6 months. I really don't believe a full Zelda game was canceled because of that. And they talk about that in development of Skyward Sword. Like, they wanted to make a full motion control, one-to-one motion control Zelda game, and it took a long time for them to figure that out. Do you Twitch anymore? Not as much as I once did. But yes, I still plan to be active on Twitch. What's happened is, when I stream on Twitch, I stream gameplay, right? I play games. I haven't had a ton of time to play games lately because college ramped back up. So now that college is back up, like my gaming time is down the toilet. So that's just the way it is for me right now. So I probably won't be super active on Twitch, maybe like a stream or two a month max. Until I get to like summer and I finally get past all this. Then I'll have more time to set up like a regular summer stream schedule over there. But right now my focus is on the YouTube channel because things are going well with the YouTube channel. We had another $2 super chat a minute ago from Caden Berg. Thank you so much. I'm sorry I missed it because I'm behind in the chat. Did you get the Skyward Sword Joy-Cons? I do not have them pre-ordered, sadly. I'm still hoping that they're going to do, like, it's not a limited run. I'm hoping that I'm still going to be able to get them. It'd be nice to know. It'd be nice if someone had them in person physically. then. But thank you so much for that super chat. Don't want you to think I missed it. Darksiders has a dungeon that's literally a Portal ripoff dungeon. Dude, games rip off each other all the time. All right, how would you rank the 7 3D Marios? Does the existence of Bowser's Fury raise 3D World in the standings? That's a loaded question. Because first off, do we consider 3D World a 3D Mario game? So let me write down the 3D Mario. So we got Mario 64. We got Mario Sunshine. Okay. Mario Galaxy. Mario Galaxy 2. All right. Then we got, for sure, Mario Odyssey. So let's see. And you said there's, what, 7? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So does that mean you count Super Mario 3D Land and 3D World, I'm guessing, right? You're counting Mario 3D Land and the Mario 3D World. You're counting them in there as well, I'm assuming. I can't imagine there's any. Is there any 3D Mario game I'm forgetting? I feel like I know what all the Mario games are, so I don't think I'm forgetting names. So I'm assuming you're including Mario 3D Land and Mario 3D World. The reason I ask is because Mario 3D Land and Mario 3D World feels like more like traditional Mario, just in a new perspective, versus what 64, Sunshine, Galaxy 2, and Odyssey did. All right, so we are going to include 3D. So if we include 3D Land, 3D World in, here's how my rankings go. Mario Odyssey at the top, followed by Mario Galaxy, followed by Mario Sunshine, followed by Mario 3D World. Wait, hold on. Let me get this in order here. I'm kind of forgetting here. So my first game would be Mario Odyssey. It's my favorite Mario game, period. So Mario Odyssey is at number 1, okay? Next up would be Mario Galaxy 2. Let me get this all straight here. So Mario Galaxy 2, because it's just phenomenal. After that is Mario Sunshine. After that would be probably... No, you know what? Mario 3D World. Then Mario Galaxy. Then, Then Mario 3D Land. And last would be Mario 64. Now you might be like, why is Mario 64 last? So the order again would be Mario Odyssey, Mario Galaxy 2, Mario Sunshine, Mario 3D World, then Mario Galaxy, then Mario 3D Land, then Mario 64. Mario 64, nothing against it. I just don't think it aged well. Loved it as a kid. To me, it plays worse than all the games ahead of it. So, like, there's, like, a nostalgia factor. And there's, like, it was a massively important game for the industry at the time. And I loved it as a kid. As an adult, I tried replaying it. Mario 3D All-Stars. I will never touch that game again. Never touch that game again. It controls like dog shit in comparison to the other games. Sorry, it just does. That being said, does Bowser's Fury make me change my ranking of 3D World? No. I consider Bowser's Fury a side game. I don't really... Like, it increases the value of Super Mario 3D World Deluxe, or whatever they call this damn thing. I guess they just call it 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. So, like, it increases the value of that game at purchase, of course. Because you're getting, like... They treat it like you're getting kind of 2 games in one. It just so happens that Bowser's Fury is kind of like a side game. Think of it like 4 Swords and A Link to the Past. So A Link to the Past re-released on like Game Boy Advance, was it? And they attached 4 Swords to it. 4 Swords was a separate mode, a separate game, but you weren't really going to sell 4 Swords on its own as it was. Now 4 Swords Adventures is different. That's an expanded version. That'd be like the expanded version of Bowser's Fury. So it'd be like, oh, here's Bowser's Fury Adventures on its own, $60. Like, okay. But I don't really think it increases the value of Mario 3D World. I think it's just a side game. A side game. Not a game I would compare to the others, but a side dish. Like, I don't... Like, while I love Four Swords and I count it as its own game and I rank it among all the Zelda games, I don't think it's fair to like talk about Four Swords in the same light as, every other Zelda game per se, typically. Now, I'll still rank it like Bowser's Fury. If I was ranking all Mario games, Bowser's Fury would be considered its own game somewhere in that mix. But it's not, I don't think it's fair to like rip that game away from how they sold it and try to then say, hey, compare it to just this subset of Mario games. Like, I'll compare it to all Mario games, but just compare it to a subset. I wouldn't do that. Like, I'm trying to think what Mario game, if there's even any Mario game, I would rank it ahead of. Probably New Super Mario Bros. 2. I had some massive fatigue with New Super Mario Bros. When New Super Mario Bros. 2 came out. Not Wii U. I love those ones. But when 2 came out, on DS, I was kind of done. I was kind of done with it at that time. So I don't know that it's a bad game. It was just my attitude with the game at that time. My favorite Zelda game is Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild. I know I'm a little bit out of focus. I'm going to take my hat off. Let it get the white sheet going. Go, Max. We're going to state. That's what it is. My old high school. They're going to state this year for basketball, apparently. Kind of surprised they're still holding those state tournaments, to be honest. What's my... I already said my favorite Zelda game. Mario's missing his guaranteed S rank. Yeah. Hotel Mario, baby. Number 1 Mario game of all time. I mean, the best Mario game of all time is clearly Mario Dance Dance Revolution, right? Wait, was I the only person in the chat to play Mario DDR? Dude, I rocked Mario DDR back in the day, man. I rocked the hell out of that game, man. I was dancing to those sick Mario remix beats. Dude, I dominated that game back in the day. I was a big DDR fan. Back when like DDR was like this big deal. I would go to the arcades as a freaking adult. Just DDR away. It was great. How do you think they will reuse the same Hyrule without it being too much the same for Breath of the Wild 2? I have no freaking idea. I don't know how much of the... so I think we're going to revisit parts of the same Hyrule. I don't think we're going to spend a ton of time in the exact same Hyrule. So there's theories out there. It's like Hyrule Castle is about to fly up to the sky. Are we about to go up there and it's Skyward Sword time, baby? Like, are we about to go underneath Hyrule? There's a whole bunch of like theories out there. I don't think we're going to be revisiting much of the same locations in this game. I think we will revisit some. But when we do, there will be something significant that's happened there to change the landscape. So, got to remember, in the trailer, it shows clearly someone who we think is Ganondorf coming back. Maybe it's Demise, but most people feel like it's Ganondorf. So, like, it shows that person coming back, and maybe they coming back leads to... some new destruction happens or some new landscape changes. It's one of those things that it's not going to be the exact same Hyrule. It'll be the same. Like when we visit the parts of Hyrule that we do, it's going to be the same Hyrule that's had something happen to it. You got to bend that visor a bit, man. I ain't bending no visor, man. I buy straight flat bills on purpose. I love flat bills. You want to know why I love flat bills? People have been criticizing my hats lately, all right? It's really strange, too, that people are only now criticizing my hats when I've been not only wearing flat bills pretty much since I started wearing hats, like 20 years ago, but also on this very channel, I've been wearing flat bill hats off to the side, literally from the inception of this YouTube channel when it was the Zelda Informer YouTube channel 8 years ago, all the way to when it became Nintendo Prime in 2017. Like... I've literally been wearing my hats this way the whole time. And only now are people starting to be like, you're wearing your hats wrong. Stop wearing your hats that way. One, I'm not going to stop. I like it. I wear a hat like this. One, I think a flat bill looks dumb straight. It just looks dumb. So I'm like, well, then bend it. I don't like bending it. I don't wear the hat to block the sun. If I was using the hat for practical purposes, to bend it and block the sun, absolutely. I wear it for style. My style. And the number one reason that I started wearing flat bill hats was for dancing, man. Dude, take it off, flip it up, catch it, roll it around, back on the head. Like, dude, it's for dance moves. God, you guys might not know this. I love to dance. Dude, I am a clubbing maniac. One thing that sucks about COVID is all the clubs are closed, man. I love clubbing. You get the hat out there. There's so many different dance moves and hat tricks you can do. All of them basically require a flat bill hat. And that's why I love flat bills. Because at any time I want, I could bust out a hat dance move randomly. And it happens every single day I wear one of these hats. At some point, a song plays and a hat trick dance move comes out. It's me. I'm not going to stop being me because people think it's like gangster or what. Like, I don't care what the hell that means. Don't bother me. I don't care. Like, supposedly gangsters wear hats this way. Who gives a shit? I wear it for fun. I'm not kidding about the dancing. That's not a joke. I'm not joking. I freaking dance all the goddamn time. I love dancing. Doesn't matter if you like looking at me. You don't have to watch me. If you didn't know, like SSRC, I know you've seen episodes of Prime News and that I dance at the end. You think the dance at the end is just for entertainment? It started because one of the first episodes of Prime News that I played, a song accidentally played when I got to the end of recording, and I just started dancing to it. And then when I was editing the video, I left the dance in because I'm like, you know what? That's part of who I am. That's part of who I am. I like to dance. Dancing is also a great workout. It's great cardio. And it makes me feel happy. So, dance now, please? No, thanks. You might wonder, why won't you dance right now? Because I know I don't look good doing it. But I don't really need the internet. The internet already makes fun of me because of my hat. All right, now people are starting to bitch about the hat. People bitch about my weight. I don't need to give people a reason to poke fun at a fat guy dancing. Like, some people are okay with, like, people making, like, laughing at them and making fun of a fat guy dancing. I'm not. I'll dance. If someone happens to get it on video when I'm out at a bar or something and it ends up on the internet, okay. That's fine, whatever. I got nothing to hide. But I'm not going to do it intentionally. I'm not going to intentionally put me attempting some serious dance moves on the internet. Like, when I do, you know, like the Prime News stuff, that's all joke dances. It's not how I actually dance. But show us some hat dance moves. I'm pretty rusty. I actually just did one of them when I took it off with my arm and then flipped it in the air. But like I'm pretty rusty with my hand dance moves. I used to be a lot better at them, but you know, I don't go out to the bars to dance as much as I used to. Like, you know, there's always the class. Oh, look at that. See, it's been so long since I've even done that. Like the little whoops. See, like see, I'm messing it up. It's not even really much of a dance move. You know, you flip it around, put it on. You know, you always have the classic, you know, turning your face one way and the hat the other way. Looks really cool in certain songs you do. You know, I used to be able to do the whole where you flip the hat up like this and it sits here, and then you flip it down and then you flip it up all the way around and it lands on your head like this. I used to be able to do that. I used to also be able to like roll it up my arm all the way to the other side, bring it back. But now, like, some of these moves, I still pull them off now and then, but I'm pretty rusty. But I still try them. I just don't try them on camera. And like, my fiance started falling for me because of my dance moves. So there's that too. Because I just, you know, when I'm out, you know, at a bar, I just don't care. I'm drinking, I'm dancing. People think I look like stupid. I don't give a shit. Let's see here. Dude, dancing is the courtship. It's a necessity, not for fun. Dude, dancing is totally for fun. What's the point of dancing if you don't enjoy it? unless you're working out, I guess. But even then, like, aren't you working? Like, aren't you choosing dance for a workout because dancing's fun to do in comparison to other workouts? At least more fun to do. Visible Broker says, hey, I got a Switch Pro question for you. Without giving us the name, are the names you got for the Switch Pro names that people have been saying or new ones? I will not say a word about it. I said in that video that I will not give any hints towards what the names are, and I am going to stick to my guns on that. I don't want to potentially get anyone in trouble if these people are legit. If they're legit as hell, which they might be, which I'm kind of thinking they are, I don't want to get anyone in trouble. No. I refuse. Sorry. I know. People want hints. It ain't going to happen. No. So in the future, if you ever hear me say like, oh, Super Switch or Switch Advance or so, like, these are all names that people have been saying and using. I'm not saying these as hints. Like, I just said those right now. I'm not saying these as hints. They're not hints. I'm just repeating what other people say. Anyways, that's just me. I like your hat. Go Bucks. You know, I wonder. So, since I've had a number of people criticizing my flat bill off to the side, is there anyone in the chat that likes that I wear it? I'm just curious. Like, can we get a thumbs up for some people that, you know, actually like the style, think it looks good on me? It's okay. Like, I don't really care. I didn't court, but Jin Shirky, I wasn't dancing for the purpose of courtship. See, you were saying dancing's not for fun, it's for courtship. I was not dancing for the purpose of courtship. I was dancing for fun, and she fell for me because of it. I was dancing for fun when she's not there. I was just dancing for fun the other night, and no one was even around. I don't dance. You know, to court people. If it happens, it happens. But what's up with the title? We were talking about some Zelda, and yeah, you guys do matter. And you are loved by somebody. Everyone loves someone somewhere. You do matter. You know, it's one of those things that I just want to spread a little positivity. Smash Rewind says he loves the podcast. Thank you so much. I worked hard on that podcast reboot, and I'm really proud of how that podcast is turning out. And I've been hearing feedback and criticisms and all that. Doing my best to make the podcast as good of a show as I can. I'm glad that people are liking that show. Let me see here. The top no be pro. Give a thumbs up liking the hat. Joy CJ says it likes it. Smash Rewind likes it. Jonathan Evans likes it. So moving on. I mean, ask questions and we'll move on. I actually don't mind that hat. I could take it or leave it, but the fact you like makes me happy. Lots of thumbs. Look at all those thumbs up. See, most people don't care about it, or they think it looks good. See, it's a style choice. I'm aware. Like, I'm not dumb. I'm aware that when I go out in public and I wear my hat, you know, the way that I do, and I have on, you know, my fancier clothes with the button-down shirt that's open. Sometimes I have on, you know, like a jacket, you know, that gives off a certain vibe. It gives off a certain look that, it gives off a vibe that this is a person who cares about what they look like, at least a little bit, or likes dressing nicer, but also could be a douchebag. I'm aware that how I dress can give off, like, ooh, okay, this person likes to dress, you know, nice, but at the same time, he's probably a douchebag. I realize that's the vibe the look gives off, but I don't really care. Maybe I'm trying to break stereotypes. Maybe that's for the point. Like, people make those presumptions due to stereotypes. Like, ooh, you're stereotyping my look. That's fine. Go ahead and judge me because of it. I don't care. Everyone judges everyone. You know? I'm fat. People are going to judge because of that. They judge because of that more than anything, so. I can't find a like up button, so here's a smile face. Thanks, guys. Should the bike from Breath of the Wild DLC come back for? I don't know. It feels like the bike was just like a fun thing, like almost like a nod to the Cyberpunk Zelda rumors. You guys remember those Cyberpunk Zelda rumors that featured a motorcycle Epona? It's almost like that bike was kind of like a wink, wink. Like we saw those Cyberpunk Zelda rumors. Wink, wink. I don't think it really has much to do with canon. So it is what it is. You know, I think it's kind of I think it's a cool thing, but I don't think it. I mean, it could return, but I don't really think it needs to. Would you like to see an older Link who is graying or has a beard that says Bent Studios? I wouldn't mind seeing an older Link. I mean, I'm aging. I have a beard. I got some gray. You know, it doesn't bother me. It's not the worst thing in the world to see an aging Link to me. But I think that, so there's this thing where they're trying to appeal to everyone all the time with Zelda, from new players that are like my kids' ages, all the way up to, you know, the longtime players and the adults out there. And I feel like Link and Zelda kind of being in those late teenage years / very early adult years, honestly makes the game a bit more appealing to a wider audience. So that's one reason that, as much as I'd like to see Link a little more grizzled, I don't think it needs to happen, and I don't think Nintendo's going to do that. I think they know their demographic they're going after, and they're going to keep going after it. I don't think they're going to try to change that drastically. I look like a gamer. What does a gamer even look like? You know, I don't really wear gamer clothes like out in public that much because it's just not my style. So like you will rarely catch me out in public wearing any sort of gamer t-shirt like you see in some of my videos. I pretty much only wear those around the house, like on lazy days or like for videos, because maybe the shirt's themed to what I'm talking about or something. I don't even have that many gamer shirts. Those are like all old product samples that like companies used to send me to try to convince me to sell their shirts or whatever. So like, I don't, you know, wear gaming shirts around that much. Like right now, I'm wearing like this Under Armour. This is like, I'm lounging right now. I took a shower. I'm basically in my PJs for the night, and I'm wearing like a little Under Armour shirt here. You know, like I wear normal clothes. You know, I wear lots of sports hats. I do have some video game hats, and I'll wear them out in public once in a while. Like I'm not embarrassed to wear my video game hats out. I don't really have clothing that, like I have a Mario hat. I don't know where the Mario. What makes me mad is my Zelda hat's missing. I had a sick all white Zelda hat with a light blue brim that was just sick as hell. I don't know what happened. I think someone stole it from me. I think I wore it out one night and someone stole it that night when I was drinking. Happens. So, you know, I'm obviously a sport fan. Clearly a sports fan. You guys see it all the time. I wear sports hats or sports shirts or whatever. I don't really care. I don't feel like I need to like dress up in a specific way for videos. Wherever I happen to get dressed in that day is what I'm wearing for my video. Every now and then I'll theme myself a little bit. Like I wore a Zelda shirt for my Zelda video today. Like, you know, I'll do that once in a while, but I don't really feel like I need to do anything fancy. I do like doing my hair up. So one thing I notice about the camera, especially with this new lens, is that when I'm wearing my hat, it causes it to go out of focus more often than when I don't wear it. So for when I'm recording, because I'll do multiple recording sessions to try to make sure I have a smooth camera for most of it, and I'll try to cut out any of the blurry parts with like overlays and footage and stuff. The thing is, I like my hair up. Like you guys have seen videos where my hair is up, I'm sure. The problem is my hair is too long to do the style I like with it right now. So, I mean, you could tell. My hair's starting to get a little long. For the way that I've been styling my hair in prior videos, the way you see it in this on the thumbnail for my channel, you know, that artistic picture of me. Like, you'll see the hair up. Like, that's how I like to wear my hair. My hair's too long to do that right now. Right now, it just doesn't work right now. So I have to get a haircut. Now, I don't go for haircuts very often because of COVID. So, like, you know, I'll go again. Especially since I'm pretty sure we've had it already and I'm asymptomatic. But it's like, okay, you know. I just have to, you know, I just don't go as often as I used to. I used to go like every 3 weeks because my hair grows like a freaking weed. But it is what it is. Jonathan Evans, oh my God, we get it. I'm like, watch K-Wings play Majora's Mask. Good night. Love you, even though you're extremely repetitive. It's a live stream, man. Sorry that you feel I'm repetitive. This is what it is. I really don't care. We're just chit-chatting away. Welcome to what conversations are like with me. So maybe you really don't love me as much as you think. Maybe you just like the content I make, but you don't like me as a person. I am very repetitive as a person. I am. I know it. When I have conversations with people, I'm very repetitive. You can hear it on the podcast. That's just me being me. So it's possible that you might enjoy some of the news I deliver, or the enthusiasm I deliver it, or maybe you enjoy some of the hot takes I have, or you enjoy some of like the real life advice I can give at times. There's things about me you might enjoy, but I am a very repetitive conversationalist, and I always have been. There are people that feel like I extend my videos by repeating myself, so I can hit like some mystical 10-minute mark or whatever and get like more ads on my video. One, you don't have to do that. 8 minutes is the mark you want to hit for that. Two, I'm just a repetitive person. It's got nothing to do. Like, I have videos under 8 minutes. It's all about, do I feel like I have more to say? And then I say it, you know? It is what it is. Taker610 says, what's your timetable for the Switch Pro? 3 to 6 months? I don't really know when it's going to come. People I trust are basically saying it's coming this holiday or very early, like around the same time the OG Switch launched in 2022. So I would say you're looking at probably anywhere from 8 to 12 months. You know, the Switch launched on March 3rd, 2017. So 8 to 12 months. Not 3 to 6, 8 to 12. It's not coming this summer. At least I'm pretty sure it's not. I don't know for certain, but I'm like pretty sure it's not coming this summer. So like 8 to 12 months. You guys say, hey, I respect you for not leaking anything. I think the fun of video gaming that releases the company gone. People just simply lack patience. I mean, I gave the information I have. I know it's not groundbreaking stuff, but it's interesting. Like, I'm interested in behind the scenes stuff. So if I get information on behind the scenes stuff that hopefully is real, then it's just kind of cool. I didn't have specs. There wasn't anything like in there. People want to know specs. They want to know new Joy-Cons. They want to know a bunch of stuff that, frankly, I'm not sure anyone really has gotten right. But we'll see. Let me catch up to where the chat's at. Ben Studi says, where the fuck has Tingle gone? Really big emphasis on the fuck. With such a big world, I need somebody to sell me a map. I love Tingle. Do you like Tingle? I've never had a problem with Tingle. He's one of my favorite characters in the series. I played all 3 Tingle games, including the ones that never released outside of Japan. I completed the Tingle Tuner quest in the original Wind Waker. Very deep story. What's your ethnicity? I think it's the first time someone has asked what my ethnicity is. Interesting question. I have a better question. Does it matter? I'm not offended by the question. I'm not. I mean, I'm American, so there's that. If you want to take that to mean anything, I don't know. Like, what are you hoping to get out of me? Do I belong to a certain group or something? I'm like the Jantz family. I don't know. I've never really had that question asked to me before, to be completely honest. I don't really know why anyone would care. You should get I don't invite people on the podcast based on knocker size. Jesus. Is this like okay. Is this like really something? Okay. So, last week we had Miss Click Gaming on the podcast, right? Miss Click Gaming, she's the first female we've ever had on the podcast. She was not invited on the podcast because of her knockers. So, like, if it feels really weird to have someone mention, I invited her on the podcast because she's extremely passionate about Zelda. Like, extremely passionate. And I know that. So I thought she'd make for a good conversation. Like, I don't know Trisha Hirschberger. Maybe she, has some really good takes. And maybe she would be an amazing guest to have on the podcast, especially for topics that she's very passionate about. But I wouldn't bring her on just because she's got big tits. Like, who cares if she's got big tits? She could have no tits. I don't give a shit about that. God. Not like I'm trying to be with her. I have a fiance. She has big knockers. I'm good there. I don't need to titillate the audience. I'm kind of disappointed that you would even mention that, SSRCR. As a long-time watcher, little bit disappointed that you would like sexualize someone in that way as a reason to bring them on the podcast, even as a joke. It's like, no thanks. I think Ganon will touch Link in a bad way, infecting him with darkness that he can use a new ability. I mean, we'll see. I have no idea. I'm clearly South Asian. Alrighty then. Sure. There's no South Asian in my family tree, but that's cool. You belong to the gamer community. You're among us. But here's the thing. I don't define myself in that way. Like, do I consider myself a gamer? Yes. But does being a gamer define me? No. It's just part of what I am. I'm also a massive sports fan. I'm also a family man and a father. Soon, a computer programmer. I don't think there's any one thing I'm into that defines who I am. I love dancing. I love singing. Like, there isn't any specific thing that I'd be like, I'm a singer, I'm an artist, I'm a this, I'm a game. Like, I'm a bunch of things. And all of that is the makeup of who I am. So, like, that's why I'm like, you could say I'm a gamer and part of the gaming community, and I am, but, like, it's also selling me short. I'm so much more than that. You know? So, yeah, I'm a gamer. But I'm not embarrassed to be a gamer. It's just, it's only part of me. Can Andre restart? I mean, okay, so when anyone asks about can this person and that person be on the podcast, it's not just up to me. I invite a wide amount of people on the podcast. As an example, I had 3 different people invited on the podcast for this week. All 3 of them couldn't make it. Now, that doesn't mean I won't end up with a guest. I still have a few invites pending out there. But so far, you know, I've asked a few people, and they can't make it this week. Now, they can make it in future weeks, so that's kind of cool. But I'll get someone in this week. I'm not too worried about it. But, I mean, I ask people all the time. You know, you can suggest people that I reach out to that maybe won't reach out to me. But, you know, Andre Restart. Now we got Andre Meadows. Look at all these people, like, giving me names of people to try to, like, go ask. There's so many content creators out there. I don't even... Who is Andre Meadows? I've never heard of him. Oh! You mean the black nerd guy. I don't even know if he'll respond to me. A lot of these really super big YouTubers, they don't respond when a smaller YouTuber reaches out. So, like, I can reach out to him, but he likely isn't going to DM me back, because you know how many DMs he gets? Do you know how many emails he gets? Like, it's really hard to get a hold of the more popular people. They only really respond to other popular creators just because of the sheer amount of people that are trying to get a hold of them. Let's see here. Do you think we could see a new 2D Mario game soon? If so, what characters would you like to see playable? I don't know. A lot of characters, I suppose. I'm pretty happy because I learned how to turn off overscan on your TV. Nice. Takers 610 hits us with a $2 super chat. Thank you so much. We have a few super chats tonight. Biggest game of the next 18 months. Breath of the Wild 2, Halo Infinite, or is that the new God of War game? Right? I mean, it's Breath of the Wild 2. My favorite game of all time is Breath of the Wild, so Breath of the Wild 2 would be my most hyped game of all time at the moment, so nothing compares to that. Like, here's Breath of the Wild 2. Here's literally every other game in existence right now that's coming out for hype. Breath of the Wild 2 hype is like, it might give me another heart attack next time I see a trailer, man. I literally fell over when Breath of the Wild 2 was revealed. On live stream. Raw reaction. Fell over. Can I get Pat the NES Punk on the podcast? I know who he is. Again, bigger creator. I can't guarantee bigger creators will respond to me. Give you an example. Like beat 'em ups. He knows who I am, right? He knows about me. He doesn't respond to me. Bob Wolf. I'm not going to go about Bob Wolf does respond to me. But I was talking to him before Wolf Den blew up. So, but Bob Wolf does respond to me. So, I'm not going to quite put him in the same category. But, Beat 'em Up's a cool guy, but he knows who I am, but he doesn't really respond to me. So, you gotta think of, when you're asking about all these big creators, it'd be awesome to get them, but it's very hard to get big creators. When my channel's not that big. I wish that wasn't the case, and I can't blame them. I get so many DMs from people, so many emails from people. I'm sure there's people that feel I ignore them, and I'm not trying to. I get so many emails. My inbox right now has over 170 emails just today. My business email. My Twitter DMs. I have 30 people in the last 5 hours that have tried to DM me on Twitter. I just don't have time to respond to everyone. So people end up getting ignored, and that's what happens with the big creators. They don't have time to respond to everyone. Do I like the PlayStation 5 so far? Yeah, I enjoy it. I got the Dark Souls remastered or remake or whatever on it. I have both Spider-Man games, PlayStation 5 version, of course, and I have Sackboy, and then obviously Astro's Playroom. Love it. I'm having a good time. But I could have did this stuff on PlayStation 4 besides Dark Souls, and Dark Souls is the game I'm enjoying the least, but that's because I'm not really into Dark Souls. Surprisingly, too, based on the kind of games I like. I figured it'd be right up my alley, but I don't know. I'm just not that into it. I don't think it's a bad game. My reaction doesn't compare to Tyler, though. I don't know who Tyler is. So I don't think I know who he is. Randy Flores. Hey, for your Switch League video from people from the factory. One person from there. Is there anything else you could share that you didn't in the video? Is there things that I could share? Yes. But am I going to? No. There's some information that you get that sometimes I wonder if you put it out there. One, I don't want to overhype people. Two, I feel like certain information you get could lead to people getting discovered. So, and again, I don't know, I don't know if these there's some information I have that I'm kind of waiting. Because, these sources, as confident as I am in how I verified them and everything, and the information they've already given me that's come true, I still am not that comfortable being the direct source for anything. So, that's why if you go to my video, I really stay away from specs and a lot of other crazy things because I'm just not comfortable, I guess, ruining my reputation if the stuff's wrong. Right now, if stuff in that video is wrong, it's whatever. I'm not over-promising or over-hyping anyone, really. But, if I start to do that, then it's with information that I'm the source for, it's okay. Now, I'll say this. If other qualitative leakers out there put information out there that my sources have verified with me before I even heard that information from them, that's different. Then I'm just adding my voice to a leak that's already out there. So I'm saying, well, hey, look, I heard the same thing, basically. So I might be willing to do that in the future. But for right now, I'm not gonna really say more than I already have. Didn't he call you in a video recently? Tyler? I don't have any Tylers that I talked to. Can I get PewDiePie? Let me just get Felix on the phone. I literally don't, I know some Tylers, but I don't have any Tyler phone numbers. I don't talk to any Tylers that I'm aware of. I mean, there might be random people on the internet that, behind usernames that are named Tyler, but I have no idea. Can I get Rich on the podcast? Maybe. Rich is one of the bigger creators that does talk to smaller ones. So maybe. I have asked. He's really busy and he's a family man. And the problem for Rich is here's the thing. Rich streams every night at 8 p.m. I record my podcast Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. So he would have to choose to skip a stream where he makes hundreds and hundreds of dollars to come be on my podcast. A podcast with an audience, of like a couple thousand. I don't think he's going to skip like his own stuff to come do that podcast. You know what I mean? And I know I'd be costing him money to do that. So I don't know. I mean, there's a little bit of uncomfortability with me knowing the schedule doesn't line up to do that. Let's see. If Nintendo came to you and said, you get to direct a Zelda game, would I do it? No. Let me explain why. I would not direct a Zelda game because I couldn't handle the pressure. You'd have the pressure of the entire Zelda fan base on you to not mess it up. And I love the current direction of Zelda. I love Breath of the Wild. It's my favorite Zelda game of all time. Why would I want to go in and mess things up at this point? I would rather not have that kind of pressure on me. I can't imagine the immense pressure that's on the directors and obviously on AJ Nomo for these games. I can't imagine the pressure they are on to follow up Breath of the Wild with another masterpiece. Like, that's so much pressure. I would not want to be in that position, especially when I lack the experience. Nintendo were to make another mini console like the Mini NES or Mini SNES. What console? I mean, N64 has to be next, right? Or Game Boy, one of the two. Thoughts on John Campea, Jeremy Johns, Geek and Gamers, Super Carlin Brothers. I don't watch any of their content, so I have no idea. Tyler Townsend. Don't know who he is. Never heard that name in my life, man. Get Arlo on. Arlo, I've tried getting Arlo on. He doesn't respond. You like a trio with Rich and Dave? Maybe. I can't control. Like, it's really hard to get Super Metal Dave on. And Super Metal Dave has a really poor internet connection. So, like, he cuts out a lot. It makes it really hard to have conversations with him. The editing on that first episode with Super Metal Dave, I can't blame him, but it was rough because of him. The whole podcast was rough because, like, we had to, like, a lot of times when you're hearing Dave talk, we don't actually hear him. That's separate audio he sent us. So when I spliced his audio in, half of the time that Dave is talking, Eric and I can't hear him. So I do my best to, like, take the little tiny bits and pieces we have, try to connect the dots and keep the conversation going. And I felt like I did an okay job, but it was very difficult to get that podcast recorded and have a real conversation. I've reached out to Peanut Butter Gamer. He never got back to me. No problem. I don't mind responding to your question. Maybe we can get John from Spawnwave Media to go on the podcast. Possibly. He responds to me once in a while. There's always a possibility I might be able to get John on. Do you have a VR headset? No, I do not. And I never thought of getting one, although I did at a friend's house play Half-Life Alyx, and really, that was the first time I played a VR game that I actually thought VR mattered. So, but is it enough to make me buy one? No. The only thing I would want to direct is aspects of the story, but that's still pushing it. Yeah, the story is like one of the things you have to be most careful with. Get T-Series on. Yeah, no thanks. T-Series is just a company. Switch Stop. I think Switch Stop will probably be on an episode eventually. I had conversations with him in the past. He's really busy. Switch Stop is very busy. But I have had conversations with him behind the scenes before. And I think I have with Nintendo Land too. The reason, guys, if you wonder why my camera's going out of focus, is because I'm not looking at the lens. I'm reading the chat. So, because I'm reading what you're saying is why the camera's going out of focus. So, if I just sit here and look at the camera and keep talking to you guys, it'll stay in focus. Like, seriously. It's not going out of focus right now, is it? But as I read the chat, it's going to start going out of focus. That's just how it goes with this new lens. The new lens is great. The quality is so much better. But I have to actually look at the lens. Which makes sense. When you're recording videos, you're supposed to be looking at the lens, right? I think Breath of the Wild 2 will officially be on the timeline? Why wouldn't it be? That's like Do you think this next Switch is next gen and will have exclusives? It's not next gen, and I don't know that it will have exclusives. There are going to be some exclusive games. I don't know if Nintendo is going to put exclusive games on it. So, can I get MatPat on? Jeez, you guys are asking. Let me just reach for the stars. You already said PewDiePie. I guess everything's downhill from there, right? Get MatPat on. I don't think I could get MatPat to respond to an email or a DM if my life depended on it. MatPat is literally one of the busiest people on YouTube. It would be great if I could nab him, but got a $2 donation using that dono link. Got the shot glass going there. I might as well take a shot for that, right? Where is my booze? Alcohol? Where did you go, alcohol? Alcohol. Oh, booze. Hold on for a second. I think it's over here. Ugh, it moved on me. Oh, no. Oh, no. Well, I was looking for the lighter booze. I guess I'll go with a cap shot here. He said, even if this is small, I know, I'm out of focus. It'll come back. Even if this is small, I hope this goes through. It did, Iron. Thank you so much. That's $2 towards the Shure SMB7 mics. Thank you for that. Cap shot. Cap shot of Jaeger. Woo-hoo. Woo! That's some Jaeger right there. That is to put some hair on your chest kind of shot right there. What about Rob Rule of 2 review? I've never heard of them. You guys are going to bring up a billion people because I think what's happening is people really like what I'm doing with the podcast. And they like that I had Superman Dave, Game Over Jesse, Misclick. And like Game Over Jesse and Misclick are kind of bigger creators. So people are not like, man, you can get anyone. I'm like, I have a history with Game Over Jesse. And Misclick just happens to be one of the nicest people you ever meet. She is super nice. She'll be on anyone's podcast. She don't care how big your channel is. Thanks for subscribing. Got a couple new subscribers. Sergio Chavez and Elizabeth Barnes. Thank you so much for subbing to the channel. What about Zelda Master or Dr. Wily or Monster Maze or Mass Nintendo Gamer, Jaywitz, Zeltic? I have reached out to some of those people and they don't get back to me, so which is ironic since I helped popularize some of their YouTube channels back in the day. Have I ever sat on a piece of Gothic architecture? No. Bring Nintendo Prime on. Bring Commonwealth Realm on. Commonwealth Realm doesn't respond to me. How about Super... Yeah, who is Super Zelda Girl? I feel like I've heard that name before. Super Zelda Girl. Let me look her up. I feel like I've heard that name before. Must have seen one of her videos. She's a small YouTuber. I feel like I've seen... Well, I'm trying to think which of her videos I've seen. Oh, her Zelda collection video a couple weeks ago. That's what it was. I don't know why it popped in my feed. Maybe because I've been covering a lot of Zelda lately. Maybe that's why it popped in my feed. So I saw her show off her Zelda collection. She has a pretty decent sized collection. Seahawks24 Rule says, you should check Rule of 2 review out. He's a huge Metroid. I think, so Rule 2 of review, hold on. Rule 2 of review. I think I might, yeah. Okay, I'm aware of him. I'm not subscribed to him, but I am aware of him. I have seen his videos. I think he is actually subscribed to my channel, and because he talks to me on Twitter sometimes. That's why I recognize him, because he's subscribed to my channel and he does he has conversations with me publicly on Twitter sometimes. So you never know, might make something work out for that. That's why I felt like I recognize it's because he follows my channel and my Twitter. So basically, he kind of reaches out to me. Yo, if you brought Zelda Master on, Zelda Master. I don't know if I know who Zelda Master is. Zelda Master. He's kind of big. 513,000 subs. I don't know if he'd respond to me because he's almost too big. He hasn't done it, but Zelda Master. Wait, that's not his current videos. So he does like a video a week almost. Kinda. Sometimes only a video a month. I'll have to. I'm gonna leave his YouTube channel. I'm gonna have to watch some of his stuff because like, even though he's big, I don't want to just like, it's about how good of a conversationalist I think you'll be. Like, can this person, work with like, you don't want to get someone on that's gonna be too quiet or someone on that's just gonna talk over everybody all the time. Get RGT85. I am subscribed to him. I think. I don't know. I don't know if he'd respond to me. I don't think he's ever responded to me before. Like, I've talked to him literally, like I was on the Spawncast before, but that was a long time ago. How about Dwayne the Rock Johnson? Yeah, let me just get the Rock on. Can you get the Paul Bros? You mean Jake and Logan? They wouldn't even respond. Even if I was interested in getting them on. Which, it might be interesting to get Logan on, if for nothing else, because he's really shined a spotlight on Pokemon card collecting. So, like, even though there's a billion reasons that people don't like Logan and Jake, I gotta give Logan a little... Like, I'm not mad at Logan for spotlighting Pokemon cards. I think it's kind of cool. So, like, having him on to talk about Pokemon card stuff would be very interesting, but that would be like the only reason I'd really want him on is just to talk about that. But he wouldn't respond anyways. Yeah, Player Essence. I talked to him about coming on. He's so busy. He has one of the busiest schedules of anyone I've ever seen. Like, you guys might not know behind the scenes, but he's so busy. It's so incredibly hard for him to find time. All right. As much as I enjoy Breath of the Wild, I would love to see a fully fleshed out game from the Zelda demo we saw on the Wii U. Oh, okay, yeah, the Wii U tech demo back in the day. The Twilight Princess-esque tech demo fighting what I assume was Goma. I remember that tech demo. Dude, that tech demo was hype. But, I mean, we still haven't, whether or not we ever get a Zelda in that style, I have no idea. Like, modern Zelda in that style. Who would you YouTube box if I had to beef and box with somebody? I wouldn't box anybody. I've had head injuries in the past, so I wouldn't go there. So I wouldn't even consider it. But let's say I haven't had head injuries and I could box without risking my health. I don't really have beef with anyone. That's kind of the thing. Like, there's not anyone that like, I watch their videos and I just dislike them so much I want to punch them in the face. I can't think of anyone. Can I get Philip Mewson? Philip Mewson probably would respond and would come on. But I don't know that it would be good for him to come on. One, I don't think any of my audience would value anything he has to say about games. Two, obviously I couldn't have him on without addressing the elephant in the room. And I feel like if he's moving on in life and like trying to have a life, I should kind of maybe just leave him be. Like, yeah, he did some shitty stuff, but it doesn't have to define him his whole life. I don't really know that bringing that negativity back to him is a good idea. He already gets enough of it still when he puts out videos once in a while. Do you like to see the ruins of past dungeons from Ocarina of Time show up? I mean, from any Zelda game. It doesn't have to be Ocarina of Time. I mean, any game. Why not? Could I get Scott the Woz? Man, okay. All right. Let's move on from asking me. Okay. I love you guys. Seriously, it's awesome. But can we talk about something else besides who we're going to get on the podcast? I'm not upset. I'm not upset that people are like trying to like give me guest ideas, but it feels like something to just tweet it at me. Like, we've been literally, it feels like for like an hour I've been doing nothing but people making suggestions for who I'm gonna put on the dang podcast. Like, no one. Next podcast is gonna be just me. It gets a little difficult at times to feel like it feels like I'm not really having a conversation. I'm just having people talk at me And then I'm going, yes, no, maybe, yes, no, maybe. You know, like there's only so much I can do. It's not that Scott the Woz was a tipping point. It's just, man, you know, sometimes I get a little bored. Like, just, I love the podcast, but like, I worry about the podcast when it's time to worry about the podcast. Would you like to see Deku return in Breath of the Wild 2? Sure. DualSense controller. Let me grab it quick. Hold on. Coming back. Grabbing the major controllers right now. Well, I'm not grabbing the Joy-Cons. They're on my Switch. So, here's the DualSense. See? DualSense controller. Here's the Switch Pro controller that's been custom modded a little bit. And then here's the Xbox Series X controller. So, like, Xbox Series X is still the most comfortable to hold. The texture on the back, I prefer offset sticks. It's just more comfortable to me. I like the D-pad better. So the Switch Pro controller then is also comfortable to hold. It does feel like holding them like this, like the Switch Pro controller is just a lower quality controller than the Series X. But I mean, it's still comfortable. It's fine. It's a solid controller. And then you get to the PlayStation controller. You know, some things I noticed. Hold on a second. So you guys remember when reviewers were talking about how the controller, like the grip on the controller has PlayStation logos? Or maybe it's on the console? Hold on a second. I gotta zoom in on something here. Hold on. No. Okay. So they were talking. Remember how they said like the grip on the DualSense has, you know, like, oh man, it's got PlayStation. There is no PlayStation. I'm zoomed in. There is no PlayStation symbols. What the hell happened? Sony. See, like, I remember, guys. Am I insane? Am I living in an alternate reality? Or were early reviews of PlayStation 5 units not talking about how the grip on the controller was actually little PlayStation symbols? You know, the triangle, X, square, circle? Am I crazy? That was in the early reviews, right? Well, I'm telling you right now, this grip does not have those symbols. So Sixto says, it's the grippy texture on the controller as well as on the inside of the faceplates. Okay, I haven't taken out the faceplates yet, so I can't talk about that. It's not on the grips of the controller right now. And it's not just because the grip is tiny. I zoomed in with my phone. These are not PlayStation symbols. It's literally just a bunch of little bumps. A bunch of little white dots. Well, I'll zoom in again. Just to check. I'll zoom in one more time. Gotta get my camera to focus here. It'll show better with my other camera. All right, so I'm zoomed all the way in. Yup. Those are not PlayStation symbols. They're just little white bumps. So, and I got a little dirt right here. It's one thing about white controllers is, you know, you get anything on your fingers is going to kind of rub off on them. And my kids were playing this, so they're the ones that probably dirtied it. Dang kids. But yeah, there is no PlayStation symbols on this. Now, I'll have to knock off the side panels and see if they're on the back side of the side panels, too. They're not on the outside. That's for sure. Have I ever tasted a Switch cartridge? Yes, I have. I did when I reviewed the Nintendo Switch way back in 2017. Would I ever partake in a food eating contest? Not anymore. Nope. Have I in the past? Yes, not anymore. Put it under a microscope. I don't need a microscope. I literally zoomed all the way in with a 4K lens. And no. Those are not PlayStation symbols on the controller. I'm not saying there aren't controllers that have them on. I'm saying that was like a temporary thing. Maybe for launch units. I have no idea. That could have been a thing. Maybe it was like a launch unit only thing. Kind of like the Xbox One back in the day had like Xbox One day one edition written right here. I had it because I had the Xbox One day one edition. Had Xbox day one edition written here, and that was only for launch units. Every unit made after that didn't have it. So right now, without the PlayStation logos, the grip on this one's better. The PlayStation logo grip might be better. I don't know, but the grip on the Xbox Series X controller is better. That being said, setting aside that little thing that I just remembered, I like the DualSense. I don't, I'll never like the sticks being in like this. It's always a little crampy to me. But honestly, I like the DualSense controller. It's a nice controller. It's going to be one of those controllers that's completely underutilized for the lifetime of PlayStation 5. But I like it, and I'm not having issues yet. I don't have drift yet. The adaptive triggers aren't broken yet. So for right now, while things are working, I like it. If a day arrives when they're not working, then I'll probably feel different. No, I do not have a Fedora. Your phone camera's crap. Yeah, my phone camera's not crap. My phone camera is freaking... I can zoom in, and I can... like, this right here looks completely clean on my desk, and I could zoom all the way in and see, like, little microfibers on my mouse pad. It's crazy with my camera. Dude, those iPhone 12 cameras, man, they're pretty nice. Yours don't, mine does. Yeah, see, I don't... It's weird, right? Is anyone talking about this online? That like some of these controllers have the symbols on and some don't. Like I'm literally curious. Like, is that like a conversation online people are having? Because it feels like a weird thing that some have them and some don't, right? Like, why are we getting a different design on the grips? Shouldn't it be universal? Yours have them, probably a launch thing. Yeah, that's the only thing I think is maybe it was just a launch, like a special thing they did for launch. PS5 controller versus Switch Pro controller versus Xbox Series X controller versus GameCube versus N64. I mean, the Xbox. GameCube controller is just okay. I was never a big fan of the GameCube controller. It was fine back in the day. I don't know why people are obsessed with it. Because it has a big A button. I have no idea. Like, why people are obsessed with that thing. N64 controller was comfy, but like also you can't use the entire controller without like moving your hand around. So, have I ever raged at a game? Probably, when I was younger. I don't rage as much anymore. Like, I'll get like frustrated, but there's no raging anymore. I don't rage anymore. But frustration still happens. Could be a regional thing. But, like, I'm in the United States, and there's, like, people who got launched PlayStation 5s in my state that have the symbols on them. I know because I've seen it. It could just be, it could be a launch thing, or it could be, like, some lines are making them with and some without, but then that's, like, a quality difference. That is, like, it's a quality difference. What if the grip that has the symbols is factually a higher quality, better feeling grip than this one? That almost, like, you can barely tell there's even a grip there anymore. It doesn't really feel, like, honestly, it barely feels any different than the front side, which is smooth. Like, that could be a significant comfort difference. I'm gonna have to find someone that has one with the symbols so I can hold it and compare. And be like, man, is there an actual difference in the feel of the grip? Because it probably would be. Gotta have the big buttons to press. Nintendo did a subtle joke on that one. Jesus. I surprised myself it had to take a minute after raging at Final Fantasy VII Remake. Thought I was past that. Melee people grinded so much they had the feel of the GameCube controller baked into their hands. Yeah, their hands just melded into the controller. I can't use anything else. Do I have any bad habits? Everyone has bad habits. I ate too much, hence why I'm fat. I ate too much bad food, hence why I'm fat. I'm really repetitive sometimes when I talk, as someone noted earlier. You know, it's not like the worst habit in the world, but it's not good. You know. Let's see here. Remember when bits would double every new console that came out? Bits. Oh, like 8-bit, 16-bit, 32, 64. Yeah. I remember those. Sorry, I'm trying to Face ID on my phone. Face ID. They should not call the new Switch Better Switch so we can have the acronym of bullshit. Bullshit! You know SML, Super Mario Logan. Jeffy, he's the guy who makes plushie skits. Nintendo allegedly sent him a cease and desist letter, and now he has to use off-brand puppets now. I heard... Okay, so I had never heard of him before, and then I saw the day that the cease and desist went up, and then I went back and watched some of his videos. Nintendo's not going to be cool with what the hell he was doing. I'm surprised he got away with it for so long, to be honest. Like, legitimately, his content, not only is it not safe for work, I don't think it's safe for consumption for most people. Not really a fan of what he was doing. And I'm really surprised it took this long for Nintendo to notice his channel. Like, I'm surprised that they just sent a cease and desist and didn't just start copyright claiming his channel and shutting it down. Like, literally, they could have did 3 copyright strikes on him and then killed his channel. So, credit to Nintendo for being nice and doing a cease and desist instead of just copyright striking his channel. I did not use a 16x digital zoom. Thank you very much, though. I'm telling you, they're not there. I'm not lying to you guys. You realize you could see them without a camera, right? If you have... Okay, I've held... Okay, here, this is my confession. This is my first time holding this damn controller. I held this thing 4 months ago at a friend's house who had it day one. You can see the symbols on the controller without a camera. They're not microscopic. Literally, I could hold it up to the light like this, and you could see the symbols. My camera's not lying to me. The symbols aren't on my controller. Man. Do people really think that the symbols are so microscopic you can't see them if you have... Like, I have without my contacts in, I probably couldn't see them. But I have seen a controller in person that has them on. Like, geez, man. I just don't remember what it felt like to hold it. It was so long ago. You might start making content because of me? Thanks, Dad. Dude, don't call me Dad. You're not my son. I literally have my own kids. I know that people like calling Rich Dad, like Rich Review Tech USA. Like he plays into it. I don't even like if my fiance called me daddy in the bedroom, I'd fucking knock her the hell out. I mean, I literally wouldn't, but I would leave the room. It would be the ultimate turnoff. And she hates if I would call her mom too. Like, fuck that shit. That's so, like, I'm not gonna, like, if you're into that, cool. I'm not. Like, I literally am a dad to 3 kids. They're the only ones allowed to call me dad. Like, my dog learns to talk, he can call me dad too, because he's like another kid. It might be a quality control issue. I mean, it feels different, okay? But, like, it almost feels like the difference between, like, a matte finish and a gloss finish, which is funny because this is actually a matte finish. But, like, you know, like when you touch something that's glossy and something that's matte and you can feel the difference? That's what it's like. It's like matte finish, glossy finish. It's not really that dissimilar, you know? Even though this is technically a matte finish and not glossy. But that's kind of like so there is a difference in feel, but it's just so slight. You know, like when you're stroking it, it pretty much feels the same. You know, that's what I'm saying. You know, it's not like when you grab the Xbox controller, you go to stroke and you got some roughness on the back and the smoothness on the front. I mean, the Switch controller is just literally smooth all around, but that's the intent. Oh my God. Next person to call me dad or daddy is just getting a temporary ban. Literally, it makes me want to vomit. They're not microscopic. Oh my God. Okay. Willed Fawn Dude. Microscopic means you need a microscope to see it. You do not need a microscope to see the symbols. Yeah, Sixto Cortez Castaneda. He's got one on hand. They're not microscopic. You can see them. You don't need a camera to see the symbols. You might not notice the symbols are there if you're not looking at it. That's possible. You might just take it. Oh, it's just it's kind of like if someone told me that there was Xbox symbols on the grip on the Xbox Series X controller. I wouldn't have even known because I wouldn't have thought to look. I would just like, oh, I got it. It's a cool grip. I wouldn't have even thought to like look that close. But since that was like something that was coming up in reviews, something I looked at. And I'm like, oh, I don't have that on mine. What am I going to do? Nothing. I just don't have that on my controller. It is what it is. Have you ever been on Newgrounds? I've been on that website, yes, when I was younger. Thoughts on Zelda 35. Would you like to be based on the dungeon minigame from Link's Awakening or based on Zelda 1? Zelda 1. You got to have a throwback for the 35th anniversary to the actual game that started it all. Danny G says, I feel like Nintendo is sleeping on a Super Princess game. Peach, Daisy, Rosalina, Mario, Luigi, and Wario each have their own games. I feel like it would be hella popular. I thought there was a Peach game at one point. Maybe it was a fan game. Now that I'm thinking about it. It is kind of weird there hasn't been like a lot of the Princess spin-off games. It'll probably happen. I forgot. I feel like there was a Peach game. Hold on. I feel like there was one at one point. Yeah. Super Princess Peach on the DS. Right? Yeah. Super Princess Peach. I knew there was a Peach game. I remember playing it. That's why I was like, God, I swore there was one. I think it's like the only one that's ever existed. And I remember it being actually pretty good. But it is weird that it's like the only one we've had. Yeah, Super Princess Peach. Yeah, I was going to say, I was pretty sure there was one. I remember playing it. But anyways, so yeah, there's been one. Clearly, it wasn't popular enough to make more. So I guess you could say Nintendo tried, and they tried it on their most popular platform they've ever had, DS. And it probably didn't sell enough to justify doing it anymore. Like, Nintendo makes their decisions based on sales, so they tried a spin-off, it didn't work, so they're not going to try it again. Good, but super sexist. I mean, to me, it'd be like complaining that, about a good Barbie game. Oh, but the Barbie game is super sexist. You mean it plays into all the female and male stereotypes? Okay. But I mean, that's what Barbie does typically. She attacks using her emotions. I mean, we all have emotions. Just want to be. I mean, yeah, it's a stereotype that women are emotional, but technically, scientifically, women are emotional, but so are men. Here's a confession that really doesn't matter. I was crying like a little baby last night. I was getting upset over the stupidest of things. Everything. So, everything was a negative to me. Literally everything was a negative to me for like a good 30 minutes. Everyone has emotions, you know? You think we matter? Even though you never contacted me back? What? What do you mean I never contacted you back? Are you trolling me right now? Are you trolling me? I gave away a ton of eShop cards, and dude, September was. I gave away a lot in September. It's possible maybe I slipped up on a $5 one. Like it was, dude. You know how many giveaways I did that month? That was insane. That was insane, man. I had so many giveaways. September was a. That was a rough month. We all break down once in a while. Yeah, I try not to because like I'm like the glue that holds my family together. But so when I break down, it's not good. But it happens. I get to sip them out when someone touches my spaghetti. Thoughts on Rick Astley? Well, I don't really know anything about him except that like he's the guy. He was a singer that created "Never Gonna Give You Up," the ultimate troll song that became the ultimate troll song. Gonna rickroll people. That's the only thing I don't really know anything else about the guy. One hit wonder. Will they make a Mario Odyssey 2? Look at that. See? So I just noticed something. When it's a little bit blurred on me, I can be like, hey, now's a good time. Look at the controller. Because like now it'll be still zoomed in on me. It's got to go blurry out of my face. And then I can put the controller up and then you can see it doesn't have the symbols on it. Why did Game... Ooh, got blurry for a second. Anyways. Why did Game Boy Mario Tennis not have a single Mario character in the story mode? It was made by Camelot, wasn't it? Didn't bother me that it didn't have Mario characters in the story mode. I love that game, man. You tried to contact me. Okay, hold on. Let me go back on my Discord. 1 second. Did you? I'm assuming you DM'd me. 1 second. What's your username? Is it the same as on YouTube? Man, I have a lot of people talking to me on Discord. Holy shit. You know how many DMs I get on Discord? Am I set to away? I'm set to busy, and people still get a hold of me. God damn it. I probably should set myself to invisible on Discord. Nah, I don't mind that people get a hold of me on Discord. It's just a lot of people mess me. Hold on. VA games. Nah, I'll give you your $5 card right now. 1 second. I gotta go buy it. While I'm at it, let's give away some eShop gift cards, shall we? I wasn't going to give away anything this stream, but since I have to go buy some anyways, I'm gonna give away a few $5s, huh? Actually, we'll just give away one because Amazon will only let me check out 2 at a time. So we'll just get 2. All right, let me get that order in. I'll get you your code, y'all. So I'm gonna give away one $5 eShop gift card in the chat. If you want to win it, just type in the chat the number 3, just one time, just the number 3. Hit 3. That's it. If you want to win, I'll get you that card right now. Thanks for showing up on the stream and getting a hold of me. I see on the day you messaged me, I had 17 other people messaging me, so maybe that's what happened. Maybe I just got lost in the shuffle. I will message you it on Discord right now. There you go. There's your $5 code, 5 months later. So sorry about that. All right. What's up, Clayton Saint CYR? It's Clay. How's your diet been? I'm doing okay. The progress slowed down a bit, but I'm literally technically I've already started it. I am on a 2-day fast that I started after lunch today. So, we'll see what happens at the end of that. We have a $5 super chat. Take this $5. I love your videos, including the news videos. Thank you, GameBoy98. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Sure, a bunch of people are hitting 3 in the chat, so I should probably finish the giveaway. All right. Entries end here. All right, let's see here. All right. Let me click my little button here. Clickety click. All right, and the winner is Warp Chaos. Congratulations, Warp Chaos. It's ironic, Warp Chaos just added me too. So Warp Chaos, hit me up on Discord or on Twitter. I have your code already. It's literally in my email right now. I'll get you your $5 code. We're done, guys. Giveaway's done. So Warp Chaos, congratulations. Hit me up on Twitter or on Discord, and I'll get you the code literally right now. I have it open in my email right now. In fact, I'm going to copy it right now so it's ready to paste. It's copied. It's ready to paste. Let's go. I will not click in the chat in case I accidentally paste it in the chat. Heck no, 15 years ago, you did not win. What are you talking about? Wait, do you have a Nintendo Prime and Nintendo Prime TV channel? Isn't that funny? Someone noticed something about my channel, didn't they? So, Nintendo Prime TV is my Twitch channel. It's called Nintendo Prime TV. Because so here's what happened, okay? Nintendo Prime was okay. So when I founded Nintendo Prime when I was working at Zelda Informer. When they booted me from Zelda Informer, I negotiated to get the Nintendo Prime, or to get the Zelda Informer Twitch channel and the Zelda Informer YouTube channel, because they weren't even going to use them. I rebranded those channels to Nintendo Prime. The problem is the Nintendo Prime username was used by my former channels, so I had to come up with a different name for the channel. So while it's called Nintendo Prime, the URL for my YouTube channel is technically youtube.com/c/Nintendo Prime YT. And then on Twitch, I went with Nintendo Prime TV. I don't know why I didn't make them both Nintendo Prime YT, but I never mentioned Nintendo Prime YT. So like Nintendo Prime YT is technically the name of my YouTube channel in YouTube URL form. And then Nintendo Prime TV is my Twitch channel. Someday I'd like to make them just straight up Nintendo Prime. I own the Nintendo Prime username on both, but I should probably have Twitter open in case they're trying to tweet at me and I'm like, I'm not there. I should probably get my DMs open here. Do I enjoy Mario, Pokemon, Kirby, DK, or Metroid more? Mario, then Metroid, then DK, then Kirby, then Pokemon. It's not really best to worst, though. It's just like personal enjoyment. Like personal enjoyment today. I'll drop a link to the Discord server. 1 second. There's a link to the Discord server. So you can get a hold of me. Warp Chaos. Got you. Why didn't I just keep it as Zelda Informer? 1, I talk about a hell of a lot more than Zelda. 2, I don't own the Zelda Informer. Like, so Zelda Informer isn't. I was editor-in-chief of Zelda Informer. I don't own Zelda Informer. The owner of Zelda Informer sold Zelda Informer to the competition. The competition closed it down, but the competition owns the brand name. I can't use the Zelda Informer brand name. I don't own the Zelda Informer brand name. I cannot use it. If I use the Zelda Informer brand name, he will take out my channel legally. I am not allowed to use that Zelda Informer brand name. Can I mention Zelda Informer sometime? Well, I mean, yeah, it's a factual thing. It existed as part of my work history. But, like, I can't use the branding. So, do I have a YouTube channel? No, I don't have a YouTube channel at all. What you're watching right now, it doesn't exist. It's not real. This is an alternate reality. You're dreaming. Did you get fired from Zelda Informer? Is there a story you can share? I would say I got fired. But so the owner of Zelda Informer, his name is Dennis. He's the founder of Zelda Informer. He sold. Well, I can talk about this. It's got nothing to do with me. He sold Zelda Informer to Massis, who owns Zelda Dungeon and founded Zelda Dungeon, for $70,000. Yeah, it's a big chunk of change. Zelda Informer was valuable. Granted, it was valuable because of me, but that's a whole nother story. So Massis doesn't like me. He really didn't like me that much. So he kept me on and signed me to a contract to be editor-in-chief or to remain editor-in-chief. I already was, but he wanted me to stay on and keep running things. So I did. And he kept renewing my contract. It was like a 3-month contract. He kept renewing it. We renewed my contract in December of 2016. A week after he renewed it, he got a hold of me and tried to void my contract. I said, hey, actually, I'd like to end our partnership and you no longer be associated with Zelda Informer anymore. And I said, why? And he just went, it's not working out. The site's not making money. Of course, it's his fault the site wasn't making money. He totally destroyed the way that the site was making money. But that's besides the point. He had no idea what he was doing because he only knew how to run Zelda Dungeon. Zelda Dungeon's a video or is a guide site. So it's like a guide site. So he knows how to make money through Google traffic. He doesn't know how to make money through news. News is different. It's highly reliant on social media. He had no idea what he was doing. So he messed up the ad groups. He messed up a lot of stuff that led to things not making much money. He decided that he wanted me gone. Even though my contract ran through April 30th. After the renewal, he wanted me gone. And I'm like, you can't just get rid of me. We literally have a legal binding contract. You can not nullify my contract until the contract's over on April 30th. And he said, okay, well, I don't want you to make a fuss about leaving. So I want you to sign an exit contract. And originally, the exit contract included a severance package. And the severance package, it wasn't a lot, like $5,000, and he would pay me, I would get a $5,000 payment, and then I would get paid my normal salary for like 3 months while I went into a work transition phase and figured out what I was going to do next. Because it was my full-time job at the time. I literally was a full-time employee for Zelda Dungeon Enterprises running Zelda Informer as editor-in-chief. And so he did that and then just said, after we ironed out all the details of the exit contract, which included an agreement that I would basically sign a non-compete and would not make another Zelda website for 10 years. So until I turned 40. Well, he later, like 2 weeks later, came back and said, you know what? I'm not giving you a severance package. And not only am I not giving you a severance package, I'm going to terminate your employment right now if you don't agree to the non-compete. I don't know what the hell changed. I don't know what happened. But he got rid of the severance package, got rid of the extra few months of pay, and said, I'm going to terminate you now if you don't agree to it. And he knew I had kids and I had a family. And he knew that I didn't have the money to legally fight him on him trying to nullify the contract early. So he knew I legally could not afford to fight him even if I wanted to. And my contract had a legal precedent in it where I would have to fight him in his hometown where he obviously has an advantage. So there was just, he basically twisted my arm knowing I couldn't afford to lose money to force me to sign a non-compete contract. So I signed the non-compete contract because I couldn't afford to go without money. And then April 30th came, and my contract, basically a week before the, I should put this out as well. A week before the contract, my contract was going to expire on April 30th, I came to him and I said, look, I don't want to argue with you anymore about the bullshit being pulled here. I will not say anything publicly at this time, but here's what I request. I want the Zelda Informer YouTube channel, and I want the Zelda Informer Twitch channel. Here's my arguments to you on why you should just give it to me and not give a shit. 1, you have a Zelda Dungeon Twitch channel. 2, you have a Zelda Dungeon YouTube channel. You have no reason to keep both of them going. Your Zelda Dungeon channel has over 100,000 subscribers. Your Zelda Dungeon Twitch channel at the time had more people watching it than Zelda Informer. You had no reason to be running both of those social media accounts, making the same kind of content on both. Can I please have them? And he said fine, on the condition that I could change the URLs, which I was able to change the URLs. Technically, the old Zelda Informer URL on YouTube still works. I can't do anything about that, but that's not their modern URL system. That's their old URL system. So I was able to successfully change it, even though technically the old Zelda Informer URL works. Like youtube.com/Zelda Informer, whatever that works, it goes straight to my channel. But that's their old URL format. I can't change that. That was like before Google owned YouTube. There's nothing I can do about it. Anyways, so I got the channel out of it. The channel at the time had 25,000 subscribers. When I rebranded, the channel dropped to 18,000. I literally lost 7,000 subscribers right off the bat, rebranding the channel from Zelda Informer. But then from there, here we are today. 40,000, almost 40,000 new subscribers since those days. Or maybe more than 40,000? I don't even know. 50,000 new? Whatever it is. We're doing good. So the weird thing was, too, April 30th, so I ran the Zelda Informer Facebook page as well. I had the Zelda Informer Facebook page had almost 1 million followers because of me. And he had been trying to find someone for months to replace what I was doing on that page, because I made money on that page too. And he comes to me on what is it? April 30th, so May 1st. Yeah, May 1st. He says, "Hey, you're done working at Zelda Informer, but would you mind still running the Facebook page, which shares all the news articles, puts up a bunch of meme posts and stuff, and goes viral and builds the channel up? Like, would you continue running it, and I'll let you continue to sell like Zelda merchandise on there and make money doing it?" So then I continued to do that. And he never really talked to me again. We literally did not talk again until January 1st, 2019. He messages me out of nowhere and says, "Hey, you're not going to run the Facebook group anymore. I just removed your access. Have a good day." And I'm like, thanks for the warning. At the time, I was making a majority of my money selling merchandise on there, while obviously sending traffic to his website. So that sucked. And then I did an emotional thing on my YouTube channel back then and all that, because I was just in shock. Like, I'm like, he won't even let me make a goodbye post on the Facebook page to advertise my own Facebook page, let alone advertise my YouTube channel. Like, that's how petty he was. I won't even let you tell the fan base that you built up for 12 years where the hell you are at. Your access is just gone. All right. And it was really emotional for me at the time, because like that Facebook page was my last connection to something I built, basically from the ground up. I mean, I didn't found Zelda Informer. I did found the Zelda Informer Facebook page though. Like, I didn't found Zelda Informer, but I did found that Facebook page, and I got it to almost 1 million followers, and it was like a really emotional thing to just like yank it from me, almost more so than the website, which I also built. I don't know. Anyways, it's all water under the bridge at this point. I really don't give a shit. He later closed down Zelda Informer in 2017. He merged it into Zelda Dungeon. To this day, all the news posts and stuff there get like almost no comments. When Zelda Informer was getting hundreds of them per news post, he really killed the news. He just killed Zelda Informer, basically. He just killed it all. He spent the money to kill the competition. He didn't want a website overtaking him in search rankings, was basically what it was. So, because I was starting to do walkthroughs at Zelda Informer, not just news, and we had really, really good walkthroughs, and we were starting to get higher and higher in Google search rankings, and he was worried that Zelda Dungeon search rankings were going to get overtaken by what I was doing at Zelda Informer. So he basically bought out Zelda Informer to get rid of Zelda Informer. And he did. Yes, the Twitter account and the Facebook account still exist, but they're all like automated. So, it is what it is. Nothing I can do about it. I'm Nintendo Prime now. I'm much happier for it because I'm my own boss. No one can tell me what to do. So, I don't have to worry about firing myself. Clayton St. Wire says, sounds like you've been dicked around a lot, bro. I feel that. I was once physically assaulted by an emboldened manager. I remember when that merch stuff dropped through, though. That was crazy. Yeah, man. It sucked. Just the lack of warning and just, you're done. See ya. It's like, can't even say bye. I can't even tell people where I am. Warp Chaos. Let me, I see you over. Let me get you your code here. Whoops. That's the Discord link. You obviously have the Discord link. Let me get you your code, so you don't have to wait anymore. There's your $5 code. Enjoy it, man. All right. Gotcha, Warp Chaos. You're good. As someone who really only cares about using people for his own personal gain, that's my opinion. I don't think he's like the worst guy in the world. I've had conversations with him since. He's actually loaned me like money since. He's like $100 here and there. I always pay back, but so like I don't think he's like the worst person in the world. It's just kind of he felt threatened by Zelda Informer, and he clearly feels like the threat isn't really Zelda Informer. The threat is me. The threat is I know what the hell I'm doing with a Zelda website and how to make it popular. And I know how to get ranked in Google. And that threatens him. Now, in hindsight, it feels kind of weird. Because if you want to make money, you really should be like on YouTube or something. Worrying about making YouTube content, which is, in my opinion, harder to do. But especially daily content. Like, it's much easier to bang out a news post. But what are you going to do? We have a super chat in. No message attached from Shulk for $2.79 Canadian. It's an interesting amount. Thank you so much. He's fully only into profit. Oh, clearly. Favorite YouTube channel. Thanks. My favorite YouTube channels? Well, I watch a lot of tech channels. So Linus Tech Tips, Jay's 2 Cents. Those are really the two main ones I watch. I'm subscribed to some others that I check out here and there, but those are the ones I watch a lot. I watch a lot of sports stuff. So like Mike Korzemba, I watch a lot of his sports content. I watch be surprised. I don't really watch a lot of gaming YouTubers. I just don't. I watch Review Tech USA once in a blue moon. Ever since people brought up Greg Doucette when I was on my diet stuff, I don't know what the hell it is, but I keep watching his videos. I don't know why. Like, I'm not interested in like being a bodybuilder or like the body fat percentage thing he talks about. Like, I don't care about most of that stuff, and yet I keep watching. Maybe it's his personality. It has to be his personality. I don't know what it is, but I keep watching Greg Doucette for. I just don't know why. Like, his diet stuff's cool, but like, just watch the videos then for the anabolic diet. Why do I gotta watch all those others? I don't know. Like, now I'm all into like his natty or not. Like, why? Why do I care if people are on like steroids or not? Human growth hormone. Like, why do I care? Well, for some reason, it's got to be his personality. Something about Greg Doucette's personality just, I don't know, clicks. And he like admits to all the bullshit he's done in the past too. So that's kind of cool. Like, he doesn't hide from the fact that like, hey man, he's been raided. He's done some dumb shit. Do you think Nintendo's gonna bring Ocarina of Time to Switch? I hope so. Game explained as a Zelda dungeon. Well, I'm not going to go that far. But, I mean, it's because Zelda dungeon's a little more, hits home for me a little more. Thoughts on Boogie 2988? Can't get out of his own way. I think he's a genuine person whose genuine personality is completely shared with the internet with very little filter. And because of it, you get to see all the things you like and all the things you don't like. And it has led to him just being kind of a stagnant creator now. I don't think he's a piece of shit. I also don't think he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. He just is who he is. I like some of his content. And that's about it. Like, I have shared way more than I ever planned to as a YouTuber about my life, but there's a lot of things you don't know and you never will. Boogie298 is like an open book, and he has no filter. And I feel like anytime you are an online personality, you almost have to have a bit of a filter. In so much that, like, I'm aware of certain things and opinions and stances I hold that if I said it publicly, I would be crucified by some people. So I just don't say it. Like, it's just not worth the internet backlash. Like, my personal viewpoints, stances, and opinions on certain things that aren't really related to what I do, there's no point in me saying it out loud. Who gives a shit? That's for me to worry about, not you. You just enjoy my content, you know? And Boogie2988 just doesn't give a shit. He'll just say anything. Whatever's on his mind, he just gets it out there. And there's something you can respect about that, but it's also kind of like, maybe he's more, maybe he does it now because he's well enough now and has enough in the bank that he can, not really care, I guess. But you think a Xenoblade Chronicles game will come out this year? No. Since there is the thought that they could port X, but I just don't think it's happening this year. Since we're on stream, and if you delete the stream afterwards, I'm not going to delete the stream. I only delete the stream if like something really bad happens. Like if it's just something that either I said that was dumb, which, whatever, or there was just some sticky conversational topics that I just don't think is appropriate to keep on the channel. If people want to capture it and upload it somewhere else, whatever. But it just doesn't belong on the channel long haul. What Nintendo is thinking of calling a Switch Pro? I'm not going to tell you. Bent Studio says, your podcast is better than Joe Rogan. The personality you have is real and fun, even if it's gaming focused. Well, thanks. I don't really watch the Joe Rogan podcast, but I mean, I know why I watch podcasts. So, thoughts on GameStop? Don't really have any. I still shop there. I have a really cool manager, really cool local store. That's really all that GameStop matters to me. Thoughts on locales like DSP, says Chris Chan. Don't watch them. Don't ever really have any thoughts. Jacksepticeye Markiplier. I have seen their videos here and there, but I don't really have any thoughts on them because I haven't watched enough. I respect GameStop for a nice price scalping. Thank Walmart. Splatoon 3 hype through the roof. What are YouTube shorts? Aren't those just short little videos, like 2 minutes or less or something like that? Isn't that what a YouTube short is? I have no idea. I've heard of it before, but I don't know. Do I read manga? Not anymore, but I did when I was a kid. Thoughts on Walmart? It's a store. Thoughts on Trader Joe's, Skater Bro, Nissan. They're just stores. You go there to buy shit. Don't really have any more thoughts than that. You can like them. You can not like them. Don't really care. Some places it's your only option. Like Walmart, there's places that, hey, you know what? You want to get something locally, you need it today. Walmart might be your only choice. Is what it is. Thoughts on Fry's closing down? Sucks that they didn't survive the pandemic. There's going to be casualties to the pandemic. There's been a lot of them. Not surprised Fry's is one of them. Fry's is a highly unique electronics store. I've actually been at one. Even though I don't live in California, I've been to a Fry's Electronics when I went to E3. I actually, the last E3 I went to, I needed to get more RAM in my laptop because it was having a problem with the live streams. And we went to a Fry's Electronics to buy RAM for my laptop. Really cool store. Every store is themed, which was really cool. But it's also it's the kind of store that's not going to survive if you can't have in-person customers. It's not like those PC stores. Oh, what's it called? There's not really one locally by me. That's why I never think of it. But it's brought up by tech tubers all the time, where they do a shitload of online sales. So like they can have the stores not open in person and still sell a lot. It's not like that. Fry's Electronics needs in person, so they didn't have it. So they didn't. What the heck did Diego Bear say? What 3DS games would I like ported to Switch? All of them. I don't know. I didn't play a ton of 3DS, so Triforce Heroes. Would you like Zelda to combine into Mario Kart officially for a Mario? Nintendo Kart always sounds nice. They're just gonna make Mario Kart into Nintendo Kart. I don't think they're ever gonna call it Nintendo Kart. It's just gonna be Mario Kart. It's too big of a brand name. What are you guys asking weird questions? Thoughts on what's the next Zelda game after Breath of the Wild 2 comes out? Breath of the Wild 3. Breath of the Wild 2, if it goes on to sell 20 million. Breath of the Wild 3. F in the chat. Ever visited Canada? I've been to Canada as a kid. Back before they required a passport. I've been to Canada as a kid. My dad used to go camping and fishing in Canada because I live close to not close to, I mean closer to the border than most of you probably. But I don't really have any thoughts on it. I mean, Canada's fine. Not much different than where I live in Wisconsin. Have I ever been to Japan or want to go? I mean, it'd be cool to go once, but it's not like something that's on a bucket list for me, you know? I don't have like that massive affinity. Some people be like, oh, I got to go to Japan for like, it'd be neat to go, but I don't have to. I'm good. Thoughts on the Bucks game yesterday versus the Clippers? You should start a sports channel. Go Bucks. What I hate about the Bucks, it's a signature win for the Bucks because it's the best win of the year. At least it's like the best team they beat this year, I should say. The thing is, what I find interesting about when people talk about the Milwaukee Bucks is how much people really aren't watching the Bucks this year because of the way the Bucks played the last two seasons and the way it ended in the postseason. Hardly anyone's paying any attention to them. So every time the Bucks get a win, right, and like Giannis does some cool stuff, they're like, oh, it's the same old Bucks. They're going to flame out in the playoffs. It's like, do you even watch the Bucks play? No, the answer is no, they don't. Like, why did Giannis close out against the Clippers? Not because he was driving downhill into a wall, you know, and smashing through it. He was off ball almost the entire time. He hit a corner three when the Clippers tried to pull away. The dunk to seal the game was an around the horn passing where Giannis cut to the basket. He didn't even have the ball in his hand to start the play. Like, Giannis plays off ball now. Why doesn't the wall work? Because Giannis doesn't have the damn ball in his hand. And yet he's still dropping 30 plus. Because the Bucks have completely changed their offensive scheme and nobody's paying any attention. Nobody's paying any attention. The Bucks are completely different than they were the last 2 years. They're not the same old Bucks. Because they realized that crap doesn't work. They tried it for 2 years, doesn't work, so they changed everything. And no one's paying any attention to them. Why? Because the Nets went and got James Harden and have Kevin Durant back. Why? Because the Lakers won the chip, so everything's about the Lakers. Like, I'm cool. The Bucks are now an underdog. The Bucks went from favorites the last 2 years to an underdog, and I'm cool with that. Nobody believes in them, so can't wait to see what happens in the playoffs. And the Clippers have the same old problems. The Clippers blamed Doc Rivers last year for why they couldn't win in the clutch, and it's like, how about the fact your players play hero ball and don't pass? I know what that's like. Giannis tried doing that for 2 postseasons, played hero ball, didn't pass. Doesn't work. Doesn't work in the playoffs. You want to play like LeBron. You want to be willing to pass. That's what works in the playoffs, is a willingness to pass the ball. So, Clippers kind of have the same old problems they had last year, where their 2 stars just will not give up the damn ball when it matters. So what's your bucket list? Dang it! If you made a sports channel, I've done a couple sports videos on my second channel, but I don't really. I like talking sports, but I don't have time to do a sports channel and Nintendo Prime. I just don't have time. All the time I have to make YouTube videos basically goes to Nintendo Prime. I just don't have time. Maybe if I ever could do Nintendo Prime full time, like I'll put it this way: if my channel gets big enough that I'm making enough money to support my family, because that's the big thing, it's got to be enough to support my family. If I make enough money on this channel every single month for, let's say, 6 months in a row, where I can comfortably support my family and I'm doing Nintendo Prime full time, at that point, I would consider a second channel that I can build up as a sports channel or something else. But until then, I'll call it Sports Prime or something. I don't know. But until then, I'm good. I just don't have the time. Everything's about the Raptors. Let's be real. Raptors! Clippers got mentioned in Seoul. Honest thoughts on what the Zelda team will call Breath of the Wild 2. Wouldn't it be weird if they just called it Breath of the Wild 2? No, they're not going to. I have no idea. If Breath of the Wild will be a trilogy based on the Triforce, it's not going to be based on the Triforce. Oh, you're like trying to make me relate it to the Triforce, like power, wisdom, courage. I don't think that the Triforce would have anything to do with it. So, like, I just because there's 3 games doesn't automatically mean we need to compare it to the Triforce. Might be a fun thing to do for some fans. And maybe after I play Breath of the Wild 2, I might think different. I might be like, oh, okay, there's clearly like a theme here. But what Nintendo will be doing for the the top no B Pro. I talked about that in my last video. Go check it out. Thoughts on appearing on The Completionist for a Zelda video? If he would like to have me on, I would gladly appear. How'd you come up with your YouTube name? I literally was on Amazon shopping at the time, and I couldn't think of a name. And I'm like, oh, Nintendo, Amazon Prime, Nintendo Prime. That's it. It's got nothing to do with Metroid. People think it has to do with Metroid because like one of my intros to like the podcast is like the Metroid theme. But like, you could think that. That's fine if it's fitting. But it's not why the channel is what it is. It's a really lame. My channel name is lame. How I came up with it is lame. It's like not unique at all. But works for me. Thoughts on Deckard Cain? Don't even know who that is. Think we'll get a Zelda Direct in March or April? I do not think so. I don't think we're till August. June at the earliest if Nintendo participates in E3. Ninja Zelda's 235th anniversary. I'll be dead by then, so I won't even care. Thoughts on the Beavis and Butthead reboot? I'm surprised. I haven't seen it. Do they have it out yet, or is it just the announcement of it? I know it was announced. I don't know if it's out yet. I haven't watched it if it's out yet. I am going to be shocked if they let Beavis and Butthead be Beavis and Butthead. In today's world, Beavis and Butthead, old school Beavis and Butthead, could not get away with the jokes and the comedy that it did. But if they allow Beavis and Butthead to be Beavis and Butthead, it'll be interesting to see how the world reacts. Let's just put it that way. Everything, it feels like everything has to be catered to a certain crowd, and if it's not, and it goes against the grain, even though it's comedy, we have to like start campaigns against it or something. I mean, it was happening with Animaniacs, for crying out loud. So, I know the camera's going in and out because I'm not looking at the lens. So, chill. I can switch to the shitty camera if you want. Here we go. Be happy. Now I'll always be in focus. The color sucks, the frame rate sucks, but the focus won't go anywhere. There you go. That's my other option if you want. It's a shitty, old school webcam. But I'll stay in focus. So there's that. Higher quality lenses and cameras mean you have to look at the lens to be in focus. And there's nothing wrong with that. You're supposed to look at the lens. But, I mean, for streaming purposes, there are cameras I can get that are better than this camera. More expensive cameras, but I can't afford them. Like $1,500. Like the next camera I want to get, if I get a new camera, is like $1,500 for the camera. Go back. Yeah. See how shitty that camera is? It's okay in a pinch, but frame rate's really low. I mean, dude, quality different. I mean, it's night and day. I mean, look at this. Here's me now in focus. Here's the webcam. Me. Okay. Yeah, I'm more zoomed in, but dude, it's a night and day difference. But I mean, a more expensive camera would focus better. Like this is like a YouTube starter camera. It's like $500. A more expensive camera would do better. Baki's following. Thank you so much. I gotta end the stream. I gotta go do some homework before bed. Thank you guys for tuning in. Catch you later. It's been fun. Let me shout out all the. We have a bunch of a handful of super chatters today. So we had Brian C with $2 earlier. Caden Berg with $2. Taker610 with $2. Taker610 with another $2. We had Iron with a $2 direct donation. We had Gameboy98 with a $5 super chat, and then Shulk with a $2.79 super chat. As for thoughts of Wii U getting a firmware update. I don't know. I don't have a Wii U. Did the update just advertise the Switch? I have no idea Maybe did they take away features? I have no clue why they did that update. But all right, that's all I got for you today. I gotta go. I just realized what time it is, and I gotta finish some college stuff before I go to sleep. So